Calling Hassan Piker fans politically savvy is a lot like calling a groomer good with children. Yes, that's true, but not the way you think it's true, or in a very fucked up kind of way. He's still on about the apology. idubbbz. People hate you. Be okay with that. It's either all okay or none of it's okay. So you can't pick and choose your anti-Semites, okay? Okay, all right. No way is the content cop actually on H3. Yes, my thoughts exactly. I thought it was going to be between three people. Donald Trump, Sam Hyde, and Ethan Klein. And I am shocked he actually went on Ethan Klein. Specifically because on their fucking little podcast, on his little podcast, him and his wife Anissa, sorry, I'm heated right now, him and his adult sex worker wife Anissa were just talking about how sorry, I had my stream going in the background. Anyway, they were just talking about how they're better than this, how they shouldn't be doing, you know, like, in getting involved with shit like this online. And what does Ian do but release a content cop on H3H3? I am so disappointed in our young Ian. The downfall happened when he started interacting with a booby streamer. The second downfall was, I don't remember. But, you know, this man, it's all content for him, for us, and I'm, woo! Don't ever meet your heroes, guys. Don't ever meet your heroes. Sam did dog walk him already. I posted that on Twitter. I was like, there's no way it's going to be on Sam, because Ian already did a content cop on Sam, but then Sam did it better. So, what's up, everybody? If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm not going to waste any time. So here's the content cop, but I just want to show you, before we watch the content cop on H3, I want to show you what I'm talking about, where they were saying we're better than this about the H3 drama and whatnot. So we'll just give it a little watch here. We'll turn it on higher speed. But just before you think that whatever Ian has to say about Ethan in the content cop is valid or cool, I want you guys to hear this. Playback speed, like 1.5 maybe.
Oh. Wait, before we do, I just want to like see where Dane's at with this, because I want to see how widespread this is. Dane, do you know what we're talking about at all?
No.
Okay, cool. Okay, so there you go. This is for a very specific subset of people who are very upset at my DMs.
Yeah, so Ethan's upset with I think some of our connections, and you know, we've tried to reach out to Ethan to talk privately. Basically, it just seems like we're at a bit of an impasse. So we want to stay out of the drama as much as possible. We don't want to
We want to stay out of the drama as much as possible. We don't want to pile on, Ian says. Yet I have content cop H3. Here's the thing though. All right, I've just spoiled it for myself. When Ian did the content cop on Rice Gum, he called it content cop Jake Paul. But as I go through this stuff here, it would appear as if it really is on Ethan. So idubbbz could have just served Anissa divorce papers and content cop her. Would have been the ultimate redemption. E2 brute? Yeah, no, for real. For real. Here's the problem. Oh, can I say this? Here's the problem with Ian. Ian he plays the Judas role not very good, because after Judas betrayed our Lord and Savior, he did something, and Ian didn't do that, and so he's on borrowed time.
pile on and add to anything. So this is our, you know, lukewarm addressing of it. It's, you know, we're always open to talk privately, especially, and yeah, we'll you know, the door's always open.
Yeah, the door's always open. I want to like really.
Is it though? Is the door always open? This was 1 month ago. So we're not going to watch the rest of this thing, but just know the key moments of this addressing the H3 drama is that they're not going to talk about it because talking about it only makes it worse. They've been to therapy. They know not to do that. They're better than that. So with this blatant hypocrisy, let's get into what you guys are here for. Content Cop H3.
Destination, the beach is surprisingly dangerous. Consider the
fucking thing in our defense. Like, actually, Hila's not a baby killer. Actually, accusing Ethan of killing his dog is maybe too far, because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group that anybody who says any fucking thing, they will attempt to ruin their lives. And once again, I'm the crazy one. It's not bad enough that I have this group of people.
What we do here is go back.
I'm sorry. Okay, so just a couple of things. Yeah, you got here just in time. Just a couple of things. First and foremost, Ian looks more sick here than he did when he had his hair and eyebrows. He looks more sick in this Content Cop with all of his fucking Sailor Jerry tattoos than he did in Hair Cake. Look at this. Hold on. Sorry, vomit warning just in case anyone. Look at Ian here. He looks better here than he does here. Make that make sense to me, chat. Make that make sense. Pre-Anissa, post-Anissa. Oh, this is not the flex he thinks it is, dude. I almost bought a like a detective outfit for this stream, but then I was like, I do not want to be as Ian is. And I don't mean that like likes to have sex with men. I mean that like derogatory, like you know, like that shirt is gay, not like these two men love each other. So just, I'm gonna say that word a lot of times throughout this stream. I do not mean the loving relationship between two men bound by the law. I mean like that shirt is gay, you know. So yeah, let's get on with it. Does he have an autoimmune disorder? Yeah, I think he might. Dude, they're trying to set a record for how much money Creator Clash 3 could lose. Yes. In Creator Clash speed or Creator Clash bankruptcy speed run any percent. Look at this. Hold on. So here at Only Jacks, we don't make fun of things on people's bodies or like in their hearts that like they can't choose. So like I'll never make fun of someone for like having Down syndrome or for like having like a bad hairline or for like having like a genetic condition that makes them fat. But we will absolutely, oh, also skin color. We'll never make fun of someone for skin color, but we will absolutely make fun of things that people do choose. Do you guys see this like gold thing in his teeth here? Anissa has one as well. Like, this is the weirdest. I can't take people seriously who decide to like permanently fuck up their face. Oh my word. Oh, this makes me skin crawl. Yes, I'm gonna judge them on the content of their character and the fucking horrible fashion decisions they make. He's butt fucking pink guy? What? That's not funny, guys. Can we look at the symbolism of this? He was a part of the cancer crew back in the day. That was idubbbz, that was H3, that was Filthy Frank, and by proxy Pink guy right there. Is this symbolism for he's butt fucking who he used to be, his past? I don't like that, guys. That's bad. This is not the flex he thinks it is. Like, we'll wait for the whole intro to be over and then we'll compare. Classic idubbbz, cigarettes and beer. Woo, you showed us.
What's up, everybody? I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the Hassan broadcast coming to you live from a cloudy day here in California, Los Angeles. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. I have a very important announcement. I've finally done it. I watched Ethan Klein's content nuke, and I'm not going to call it context puke as I normally do because the reality of the matter is it was brilliant. Nothing was out of context. Everything was correct. I am an Islamist, fundamentalist, radical terrorist. I am a vicious anti-Semite. It's true. Most importantly, Ethan is more attractive than me, both physically and also mentally. I've been lying about everything, including my glasses. They're fake. He was right about that. That's not even in the content nuke. And he was right about that too. How did he know everything? How? Wake up, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, wake up.
No!
Wake up.
No! Oh no!
Wake up.
No!
Wake up, Ethan. This is no longer a dream. This is a nightmare. Wake up.
Ethan, the dumb bitch is telling you.
This is a nightmare! No! No! No. Ian. Dude. Sorry, I have commentary. Sorry, the initial shock. Yeah. The second items hit the second tower. No, okay, it's the initial shock. Because I don't watch Hassan's streams. So I thought this was just a clip from Hassan's stream. Dude. So, okay, I don't know how the Rug Man pulleth and Goldilocks. I know Goldilocks is here quite a bit. I don't know how often you guys watch my content, but I am no fan of Hassan Piker. I do think he's an anti-Semite. I do think he is morally bankrupt in all of the things that Ethan Klein. I'm not a fan of Ethan Klein, but in this scenario with his content nuke, I agree with every point Ethan Klein had to make. And so to see idubbbz, someone who I used to idolize, back 2015, 2016, join forces with a person who I think is so backwards and just horrible, not ironically, is it's just brutal. And it's scary to see these guys. You've always been a Sam Hyde MDE guy. Right on. What are we gonna do to Hassan Piker in? Oh, no, I can't say that. Hold on. I was gonna make an amazing Sam Hyde TED Talk joke, but I just realized that would make. Yeah, I can't do that. Hassan Piker reminds me of dudes who would mansplain communism to me at college parties. Right. No, you see, it's better, right? Because we own the means of production. Well, who's we? Well, we have a government. Oh man, this is bad.
Ethan, wake up.
Not broken.
Ethan, wake up.
Oh my word.
Since anyone?
Just wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up, Ethan.
I'm not going to do a react content yet, chat.
I'm listening. Nobody's told you to wake up, Ethan.
Yummy, I love Sabra hummus.
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up. Ethan. Wake up.
That was not nice.
Just wake up.
Dude. Oh my gosh. Ian, this is not the flex. I feel like Hassan Piker is like, where was Mike from PA? Where was Bad Empanada? Where are they? Huh? You picking and choosing your anti-Semites there? You don't get to pick and choose, okay? Either all anti-Semitism is okay or no anti-Semitism is okay. Okay, you don't get to. Sorry, who am I quoting there? Where is it? I hope to God this is censored. Hold on.
Illustrates the point quite well that we are very fucking stupid to hold the word at this colossally high standard.
Oh, whatever. But anyway, I'll post the clip later. idubbbz is the man himself. Is like, it's either all okay or none of it's okay. So you can't pick and choose your anti-Semites, okay? You got Frogan in there. You got Denims. You got that black fella who says we should kill all whiteys and then we'd have socialism. Why not bring Bad Empanada, who historically likes to kill Ela Klein in video games, of course. What about Mike from PA? I don't know a quote from him specifically, but why not those fuckers? Huh, idubbbz? Are they too bad for your image? Oh my gosh. No one does, Mr. Gamer. This is an opportunity to laugh. Why does Anissa make him film everything in the fucking basement? I don't understand. Where is his room? Do you guys remember his room? It had like the cool it had the acoustic panels like I do. You know why I have acoustic panels back there? Because idubbbz did. Now I kind of want to take him down. idubbbz used to have a room to make his videos in, and now he does everything in his fucking basement. And I gotta think that not that I have any evidence for this, but I gotta think that Anissa's making him do it, or he lost the house when when he had to do Creator Clash, the charity stream. It strikes me that Ian deleted all of his old content cops, which have some decent points, but then released this. They're not deleted. He made them unlisted. Hold on. He made them unlisted. So you can find it here, actually.
I harassed Hannah.
Here we go. So there you go. I think he like notoriously did not leave in the Tana one, which I mean, yeah, I probably wouldn't either. idubbbz doesn't have acoustic foam anymore. Now it's cool to have it. That's so real. Thanks for saying that, Leo.
All right. I didn't plan on making a content cop on H3. It sounds very stupid even saying that. H3 content cop, idubbbz. Ethan Klein's out of control. And then you should do a content cop on Hassan Piker. Content cop on Sargon of Akkad. If I would imagine this in 2016, I would have been like, oh yeah, if I ever do that, it's gotta be because I lose the plot. Well, it turns out it's not me losing the plot, it's Ethan. He's the one who fucking attacked first.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
All right, guys, I'm gonna tell.
Was that out of context? So a couple of things. Ian lost the fucking plot. Ethan did too. Ethan also lost the plot. But I will say, within the last 12 to 18 months, Ethan has begun to... I'm going to start... Okay, it's H3 and it's idubbbz. I can't... If I say their names too close together, you can't tell who I'm talking about. H3 has lost the plot. idubbbz has lost the plot. The difference is so they're both to blame there. The difference is H3 over time in the last 12 to 18 months has still been in this lost the plot mindset, but he's back on track to being a normal human being with like normal thought out takes, whereas idubbbz has been stuck in Anissa's ass crack for the last several years. Makes anything hard. It's a whole thing. I don't know if I want to go find that clip he used. This clip here, I'm pretty sure is out of context. This one is legit.
Fine to speak up.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
I'm like 95% sure they're talking about Adam McIntyre right there. I want to find the clip, but it would take too long. Mr. Gamer, you should actually have a better time doing this than I would. The Twitter account Yeet has posted all those clips where Ethan and Hila are talking. So if you wouldn't mind taking the time out of your day to find that clip where Hila's saying go fuck yourself, just so we can verify that she's actually talking about fucking idubbbz and not Adam McIntyre like I'm 100% positive she is. That is scummy, dude. But also, I could be wrong. I don't have the whole pod on that episode committed to memory.
All right, guys, I'm going to tell you a story about Ethan Klein. I know some of you have been following him, but there's a lot of people who might not be familiar with the background, with his podcast, with what's been going on over the past couple of years. So Ethan, as you know, is a content creator who has a podcast where he says all sorts of outrageous stuff. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's fucked up. He's had shows with all sorts of different controversial characters. He's had a show with Trisha Paytas. He's had a show with Hassan Piker. In doing so, he's gathered a ton of different audiences. Now, in his podcast with Hassan, Leftovers, they would mostly talk about surface level progressive shit and make fun of right-wingers.
And you're telling me he didn't flick their dick once at least?
Oh, that's 100 shavers. You trans women. I say, oh no!
And it was mostly that until they actually had to reckon with a very serious topic. I would say that Hassan was very well equipped to talk about that topic.
Palestinian people living in the West Bank are subject to these horrific conditions, horrific living conditions by the state of Israel, America's greatest ally and the only democracy in the Middle East, if you ask Republicans and even liberals.
Well, the dance he invented was so kick-ass.
Israeli settlers are trying to evict Palestinian families in occupied East Jerusalem. The United Nations says that may be a war crime. It literally is.
I was just eating the toppings, and the pizza looked like a burn victim. It was all disgusting.
I don't know if you can make that joke in 2021.
Why?
It's insensitive to burn victims.
I think it's a good analogy. It's a powerful image.
Ethan was not prepared for this. Ethan, the whole time, is more of the goof guy. And that's fine, you know? We don't expect Ethan to be an
So for context, that Leftovers episode is they're talking about the October 7th terrorist attack. I'm like super down with people who are like they like Israel, and I'm also like pretty down with people who like Palestine. I'm not down, however, with people who are like fan of like terrorists and dropping bombs out of the sky on people at music festivals. I'm really not down with that. Like if the Palestinian people, all of them, were to unite and lead their rebel revolution, that's cool. But Hamas is not a rebel group. They are a terrorist group. Objectively, they are horrible to their own people as well as to the people of Israel. So I understand what Ian's saying, that Hassan is pretty well equipped to talk about this problem. The issue is that Hassan does not recognize Hamas as a terrorist organization who has no regard for not just Israeli people's lives, anyone. And I would like to say that they at least have regard for the lives of the Palestinian people, but they don't. Because God forbid you're a Palestinian person who doesn't necessarily want to bomb civilian music festivals. And I'm not saying Israel is not at fault here. Seems like both of these groups, the Israeli government, Hamas, are pretty bad. However, one of these two groups of people started this whole conflict by bombing a music festival and raping innocent women. You figure there's always a victim in the rape, so I don't need to say innocent women. No one deserves rape. So there's that. So whatever Ian's about to say, just remember Hassan Piker. So as Ian defends Hassan Piker denies the rapes ever happened on October 7th, backs Hamas and any other terrorist group like the Houthis. So I figured you guys all were in on this, but just wanted to give the background that I feel as if Ian is not going to do a good job, idubbbz, he's not going to do a good job explaining.
Expert on the topic. Ethan was obviously caught in this tricky situation where he is extremely sympathetic to the Israeli cause and what's happening to them. His wife's Israeli. She served in the IDF. He obviously likes the state of Israel. On the other hand, he's just got done capturing a massive progressive audience who are very politically savvy. They follow Hassan. Hassan is strictly
calling Hassan Piker fans politically savvy. I give a fuck about the rape victims and the war conflicts and the children being beheaded. I hate when all of those things happen. But maybe you don't care. I certainly care. Not enough to go fight, but I would if you asked me, like, I care enough to at least say, hey, I prefer this wouldn't happen. No. So calling Hassan Piker fans politically savvy is a lot like calling what's the word I'm looking for here? Calling Hassan Piker fans politically savvy is a lot like calling a groomer good with children. Yes, that's true, but not the way you think it's true, or in a very fucked up kind of way. Groomers are great with children. Not in the way you're thinking, though. Yeah.
a political streamer. So this is something they're very keyed into. So when they see Ethan say things that are just like not accurate and it's just propaganda, they're gonna call it out.
From the river to the sea essentially means the state of Israel is going bye-bye.
So this massive progressive audience that Ethan has, adopted over the years, they're becoming increasingly critical of his position because now he's talking about it not on Leftovers, he's now talking about it on his podcast.
What I want to do is show you guys how I see Israel, because you don't see that. When you listen to Hassan and you hear all these fucking mega lefties talking about it like it's some super racist, crazy, like Jim Crow style of society. Like, I can't wait to show you guys.
The other day, BB fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about.
So Ethan is having this back and forth with his liberal audience, leftist people online, progressive content creators, Hassan, all of these different people. He's finding new people every day, basically, to get in fights with.
Of all people, this guy, Matt Lieb, Frogan and Denims and all these dipshits, and everybody thinks this guy's awesome, apparently. Even though he looks like Milhouse, fucking dork.
He does look like Milhouse.
The real villain of the video. Evil, hateful, fucking... And I'll say it and I'll double down on it. And people... Oh, no? Did I not go there?
And it's...
So Ethan's right about all of that, though. idubbbz is going to ignore the Love Sabra bit, the anti-Semitic panel they had at TwitchCon. And also, I want to, make something clear. I'm a 26-year-old straight white guy. Okay, I don't really have a place talking about all this stuff, but neither does idubbbz. So just letting you know, this is not getting political and talking about race relations and whatnot is not something I would normally like to do on the internet. But since we're here, in the sense this is what the content cop seems to be about, I just want to give that forewarning here. So, but on that topic, I still don't see how, you have to be in such an echo chamber to think any of those people that Ethan is going after are great people. Frogan's the same woman, again, participating in this anti-Semitic rating races panel at TwitchCon, and then goes on to say that she hopes every American soldier gets PTSD when they come back home and they don't get health insurance to deal with that struggle. And then furthermore, doubles down on that. And then when forced to make an apology, it's sorry you felt bad, but yeah, sorry. I'm not really sorry. So like Ian is just fallen so far down, and I'm not surprised, but it's so frustrating because we used to think this guy was like really smart and like clever. Like Ian used to be very smart, very clever, very thoughtful and mindful about things. Now it's less so. He wants to make a Thanos zip popping toy. He wants to call the guy who does cart narcs, fucking stupid for some of the best content in grocery store parking lots that I've ever seen. He wants to feed squirrels, which actually I liked the squirrel thing. And he wants to make floaty toys. There's a proverb about I'll find it later. We'll talk about that later.
It's all culminated, at least for my story, in Ethan burning bridges with people until he burned the bridge with me. Since Ethan and Hassan's falling out, I've been keeping to myself mostly. I don't have many nice things to say. Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help, maybe if he stops harassing other creators, maybe if he does these things, eventually he'll find peace and we can rekindle our friendship. So that's been my approach. I've occasionally thrown a joke Ethan's way in the form of Hassan Piker versus Ethan Klein for boxing.
I like idubbbz. He's a good guy, but I don't like this stupid. It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. And also he's way out of my weight class.
He didn't like that, but fucking sometimes you gotta just throw something out there.
Yeah, so on that topic, idubbbz is like, Ethan threw the first punch. Not really. I can imagine, this is all retarded, by the way. I can imagine Ethan thought idubbbz threw the first punch, that Hassan Piker bit, with that tweet there for Creative Clash 3. I didn't think it was very funny just because it was coming from idubbbz, but if someone else would have posted it, I thought that would have been great. But Ian has been showing for quite a while now that he is no fan of Ethan, and it seems as if communication hasn't been open and honest between them. And again, it's like we're watching like a reality show where it's like, oh my gosh, they did what to this person, and then it like cuts to their like talking head cutaway, and it's just like kind of like manja entertainment. Like it's I feel myself being very parasocial about this. Like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that to them. And then all this, no, this is like petty, weird shit that we're enjoying. But it's one of those things where it's like, these people were supposed to be friends. We wouldn't have, I feel like a lot of creators wouldn't be how they are if it weren't partly for idubbbz and, H3. And so it is certainly weird watching them go at it like this. And if they're going to, idubbbz, the best play was literally to just not talk about this further, honestly, and just practice what he preached there when he was talking about it with Anissa. But now that he's airing the beef publicly, like he said was a bad idea because the commentary people were going to come out and talk about it, look what's happening. So yeah, there's that.
I used to work with this video editor named Froggy Tonic. I discovered him because he was in the circles online that I was in. And one of those circles is an H3 fan. He watched Ethan's content, he liked Ethan's content, until he didn't like Ethan's content. There would be an occasional Froggy tweet where I'd be like, I agree with that, I'm not gonna endorse it, I'm not gonna retweet it or like it, but fair enough.
I guess I just missed my old friend. Some wings are too bird feathered colored.
Now that brings us to February 28th of this year. Now my former editor of a year and a half ago did say some truly mean shit. He called Hila the C word. He said they're trying to kill their dog with cheddar cheese and a bunch of other shit, I'm sure. Ethan at some point discovers that idubbbz's former editor says this horrendous shit about him and Hila. But no one's asking the question, where does Ethan get this information from? You see, it would be very obviously a problem if Ethan was discovering this content by scrolling through Twitter looking for something to upset himself with. He has maybe set it up in such a way where his employees feel the need to send him this information, and that would be horrible. They shouldn't be doing that. They should be sending you things that are entertaining for your show that don't fucking trigger the hell out of you. Why?
Well, the content cop is going off about how Ethan runs his fucking channel, which is a million times more successful than idubbbz's channel. Your crew should be doing this. Your crew should be doing this. Ethan, H3 Ethan, if you're watching, brother, any advice idubbbz gives to you in this video, do the exact opposite. This is the same guy who not only bankrupted his last Creator Clash event, but he came in $250,000 in the hole debt that he had to make up by doing fucking drag on a stream, letting his fucking wife emasculate him, embarrass the fuck out of him. This guy does not know how to run. I mean, I don't know how to run a boxing event, but he doesn't even know how to run his own channel to be, I don't know how he's profitable, but he is. I don't know, well, maybe Anissa's profitable. But unless the only advice you should be following from this guy is let Hila make an OnlyFans, because if your channel goes down, you can live off of her dime. I don't want to hear anything from idubbbz talking about how he should be letting Ethan run his team or this, that, and the other. Ethan is wildly successful, or H3 Ethan is wildly successful, even after all the leftovers and whatnot. Like, he's leveled out with an audience that likes him, is going to continue to support him. Teddy Fresh is doing okay. Like, they're going to be fine, even with all this, I guess you would call it, polarizing stuff. Like, he's not policing the content, okay? This isn't a content cop. This is Ethan does these things that I don't really like. Like, oh my, what a shitty way to end a content cop. I can't imagine he's going to do another one after this, but this is already, like, so dumb. Actually, I have a bad feeling about this video, so before we go too much further, let me just put this in my downloader right quick, because I have a sickening feeling Mr. idubbbz, Mr. OnlyFans wife is gonna wind up either privating this or making this unwatchable. So let me do this right quick. Sorry guys, I'm just doing my part. Start all downloads. This is my downloader here. We use a downloader program because sometimes, like, the YouTube downloaders, this is called J Downloader, this thing rocks, but sometimes the ones online like blow, so that's why we're doing this. So we'll let it do it in the background while we're watching.
Why is there so much work being put into discovering this guy on Twitter who's barely getting any interactions, linking him to me and posting on the Reddit, when there's no work being put into who the fuck is the person on the Reddit who's posting this in the first place? If you do a little bit of research, it seems like it's an account whose intention is to make Ethan crash out. One of the users on the Snark Reddit points this out. They're like, I've seen this account before. This account has scraped its history, and it's now trying to make Ethan burn bridges. This is within Ethan's own community. Like, this is the thing that he needs to be critical of. It's not me. So yes, I am willing to admit that my former editor was being very nasty, uncharitable, and fucked up towards Ethan and Hila on Twitter. But Ethan and Hila are doing the same shit on their podcast. So I don't want to fucking hear it.
Terrorist supporter.
The CEO of Twitch.
Pedophile.
Now I'm going to watch and...
Those things are like, they have like validity though. And it's telling that he only plays, I mean, maybe he'll play more, but it's telling it's like only like those two things. Hassan Piker is a terrorist supporter. He is on record supporting terrorists. Dan Clancy is on record doing what was that with like his Twitch stories or whatnot? Like, he at least looks like one. Yeah, one sentence clips. Like, Oh, he used to be so good. Oh, he used to be. How the gods have fallen. I mean, every other god except for the one true living God was dead the whole time, but still, this is just brutal.
Respond to the 2 podcast streams where Ethan and Hila call.
Oh, sorry. What I was getting at is like the Froggy Tonic thing. All the oh, did it finish or did it stop? Oh, it finished. Okay, good. So we've got it offline now. All of the things that Froggy Tonic and everyone really is saying about Hila killing babies and all this stuff, like it's unsubstantiated claims. Like, yes, Hila has said she wanted to be put in a city where there's like action, you know, one of the terrorist cities where there's action. But like, I don't understand how you can be so vehemently horrible against someone who lives in a country, like get mad at Israel for having compelled military service to keep your citizenship. Like, get mad at that. You know what I mean? Like, why go after Hila for being a part of this system where she has to do mandatory service instead of get mad at the system? Like, pick one. You can't do both. Like, hate the game in this situation, not the fucking player. Because she didn't ask to play. $100 says that if Hila could have not done her mandatory military service, she wouldn't have. So that's the thing. Like, that's the difference between what the shit they're getting on Hila for and the shit H3 Ethan is saying. Like, the stuff H3 Ethan is saying has backing to it.
Call us spineless cowards.
Anyway, this guy was saying shit like that Hila's a Nazi, that she kills kids, that she went on like, she's like a IDF baby killer, all this types of shit. And that's showing up right up on us Nisa's and idubbbz feed. My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
Yep. Ethan said it best. Let's do a quick quiz. Every time Ian and Anissa get into controversy, who is the first person who brings them on their show to be a friendly face and a comforting voice? I'll give you guys a second. When Creator Clash 2 was a fucking flop, who was there to back them up? Who was there? I'll give you a hint. Rhymes with Schmeethen Schmlein and Schmiela Schmlein. And so, when Ethan calls Ian and Anissa spineless cowards for not speaking up for what should be their friends, yes, the 2 people from Payday 2. When Ethan calls them spineless, it's because he absolutely is. And then they go on record saying, we're not going to talk about this. And I would like it to be known that Ian says Ethan made the first shot when he said, they're no friends of mine, talking about the whole CPS drama. This podcast, where they're talking about how they weren't gonna, hold on. This podcast, when they say they're not going to address the drama, comes after that. Like, this drama was done, Ian, idubbbz. So what you're doing is the cowardly thing. You said you're not going to talk about it because there's nothing good that's going to come from it. And then you decide, you know what? Let me cash in on my dying audience. Let me cash in on my dying fucking audience to make a quick buck off of Ethan Klein. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I gotta text my girlfriend that I'm streaming. All right. The love of my life now knows we're live, so she can come watch.
You don't know what's on my feed. What the fuck is happening? For all you know, I only use the For You tab. For all you know, I only use lists. For all you know, I'm seeing these things tweeted out by my editor of a year and a half ago and saying, God, that is nasty. I'm just not going to throw someone away because they're having a parasocial weird moment. Just like I'm not going to throw Ethan Klein away because he's having a parasocial weird crash out.
How many women I fucked? Hassan, by the way, thousands. Yeah, thousands.
All of what Ian just said also, like, is totally fine to say, but that all should have been said a month ago. A fucking month ago, where him and Anissa are talking about this situation and talking how they're not going to address it. Everything idubbbz said here with in regards to the Froggy Tonic thing is like absolutely good and fine, and like I have no commentary. I think he's retarded, but like other than that, like I have no commentary. Like absolutely, how is Ethan supposed to know what's on your feed and what's not on your feed? You could have Froggy Tonic muted. You could not use the app that much. You don't have to scroll very far. You know, whatever. You know, likes are private on Twitter now, so there's no way to know, right? And that's a fair rebuttal to what Ethan's saying. But why not say that a month ago when you're talking about it? Why wait to put this into a fucking content cop? Like, do I sound crazy? Like that, I don't think that's a crazy take. But then to go make a content cop, like this is antagonistic. Ethan, I will say, I've seen most of the clips where he's talking about idubbbz. He says, you're no friends of his. He calls them spineless. Those are the big things. He doesn't get all of the people who hate. He doesn't go and get Sam Hyde on his show to antagonize idubbbz. Like, this is not a measured response. This is retarded. Yeah, what's up, Leon? But like, all of this was supposed to be a month ago. Like, this is so stupid. Where's the content cop in this? This is just new idubbbz, same dull, condescending presentation. Yeah, absolutely. No, but Leon, none of this stuff matters. It's just these two people involved used to be my heroes, and so I have this like lasting parasocial relationship, and I want them to kiss and make up, but they just never will. And it's just so frustrating to see people who you put on pedestals knock themselves down by no fault of your own, and then call you like the worst things in the world. I'm so not an idubbbz fan. I'm not an Ethan fan either, but like this is like so. This is an unmeasured response. Yeah, dude, it's long. Yeah, you need to get to bed, dude. I see how late you're up on the fucking internet all the time. But yeah. So anyway, back to what I was saying.
Let me ask Galia. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Hassan's the type of dude who watches himself in the mirror when he has sex.
Watching me on a 30-second delay on your stream.
Wait, how does he know I'm watching already?
Because you've been talking about it for the last 5 minutes.
It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry.
There are many people, I'm sure, who have unfollowed you for the things that you have said and done. And I'm sure there are even more people who have stayed following you because they don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. They don't want to throw someone away because they've had some hard moments. We're all fucking human.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
And what you're saying to me is that I'm a bad friend and I'm a piece of shit. I'm spineless. I'm cowardly because I am following someone on Twitter.
Because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group. It's not bad enough that I have this group of people harassing me and everyone in my life. It's that people outside of this group, journalists, creators, are actively participating in this gaslighting to make it seem like I'm fucking crazy.
I mean, I don't know what he's...
Okay, so I don't think idubbbz is gonna play the clip, but he's putting this out. Maybe I shouldn't throw my For You page on for everyone to see. But what idubbbz fails to mention is that yeah, we watched the podcast. What he fails to mention is that Ethan is talking about all of this after Ethan claims to have actually spoken with Ian and Anissa about all this. Oh my word. Maybe I have it downloaded already. Hold on. Maybe I have it downloaded because I made a video on this. Only Jax videos, projects, Ethan Klein. Oh no. They all must be in my regular download folder, which is such a dumb way to do that. I'm actually so upset. Oh wait, hold on. Here we go.
Anyway, this guy was saying shit like that Hila's a Nazi, that she kills kids, that she went on like she's a IDF baby killer, all this types of shit. And that's showing up right up on us Nisa's and idubbbz feed. My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find us.
I want to play this whole clip for you guys because I have a feeling that Ian is just going to continue to cut this, not necessarily out of context, but without the entirety of the needed context. So I'll play, it's only 2 minutes. I'm going to play this in its entirety so we all know what I'm talking about, where I'm like, Ian is coming totally out of left field here.
Fine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered for saying one goddamn fucking thing in our defense. Like, actually, Hila's not a baby killer. Actually, accusing Ethan of killing his dog is maybe too far, because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group that anybody who says any fucking thing, they will attempt to ruin their lives. And once again, I'm the crazy one. It's not bad enough that I have this group of people harassing me and everyone in my life. It's that people outside of this group, journalists, creators, are actively participating in this gaslighting to make it seem like I'm fucking crazy. Like, dude, I probably done and stood by idubbbz and Anissa more than anybody. I've stood by them when all the internet hated them because I love those guys.
That's so real too. Again, who are the people who are always behind idubbbz in every controversy? It's fucking Ethan and Hila.
Vouch for their character, and I stood by them 100%. And listen, I'm not saying that they're not the good, nice, fine people that I thought they were, but I'll say this: I don't think they're fucking any friends of mine. That's what I'll say at this moment. And certainly, I don't think they're any fucking friends of mine based on the text conversation I had with them too before I even talked about it.
So that's the part, the text conversation he had with them before he even talked about it on the podcast. So Ian is like posting all of this. First and foremost, listen to how Ethan describes them.
Nice, fine. I'm not saying that they're not the good, nice, fine people that I thought they were, but I'll say this: I don't think they're fucking any friends of mine. That's what I'll say at this moment. And certainly, I don't think they're any fucking friends of mine based on the text conversation I had with them too before I even talked about it.
So those are like the really cool things to leave out, Ian, idubbbz. Those are the really cool things to leave out because it seems like you guys already talked about this. So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. If you don't have that context, you were like I will say, like, idubbbz is still very clever with how he's editing all this, but like, yeah. Anyway,
getting at here, like, yeah, people are gaslighting you. A lot of people gaslit me when I apologized. That was actually like the #1 type.
Oh, he's still on about this.
And taking my newfound woke ideology.
Oh my gosh.
I probably done and stood by.
He's still on about the apology. idubbbz. People hate you. Be okay with that. People don't like the direction you took after marrying your OnlyFans girlfriend. Be okay with that. Embrace it. Own the chuds. Own the chuds. Stop bringing up your poorly received apology because you yourself had amassed a fan base of people that you admittedly don't like. Just like Ethan did. You, my friend, have no legs to stand on criticizing or critiquing Ethan for how he's dealing with the fans that he gained that he now no longer likes. Okay? At least Ethan is owning it. At least he's owning it. What idubbbz does is deny just he's getting mad at Ethan for saying this, but idubbbz has unsuccessfully tried to gaslight and ostracize the audience he built from the ground up. And here's the difference, really. 13 minutes and he only just talks about how Ethan reacts to people shit talking him. No, for real. So here's the difference between Ethan and Ian. Ethan inherited the woke fan base, the very, very progressive woke fan base from Hassan, okay? And then turns out Ethan doesn't like the super, super woke progressives, let's kill Jews people. He doesn't like the let's kill Jews people. Let's make that clear, okay? Ian, his like right-wing racist audience, idubbbz, he built that one from the ground up. So again, idubbbz, you have no legs to stand on here. You are, if Ethan is guilty of everything that idubbbz is saying he's guilty of, idubbbz is guilty tenfold. This is the fucking blind leading the blind here. Like I said earlier in the stream, both of these people have lost the plot. H3 Ethan recognized he lost it and is trying to make changes. idubbbz does not recognize that he's lost the plot. He is the spineless coward. Rather than have his own opinion, he cowers behind Hassan Piker, Denham's Frogan, that black fella who wanted to kill all whiteys, and whoever else, and his OnlyFans girlfriend. How could I forget? Like, do you guys agree with what I'm saying? Do I sound crazy right now?
idubbbz and Anissa more than anybody. I've stood by them when all the internet hated them.
I don't like that Ethan brought this up because it makes the relationship feel very transactional. Like, you know, we're just meant to support each other online despite our own personal morals or principles.
But I'll say this, I don't think they're fucking any friends of mine. And certainly I don't think they're any fucking friends of mine based on the text conversation I had with them too before I
he did play it.
I have nothing.
Maybe the text conversation never happened.
Halfway friends, man.
Yeah.
I thought the text conversation that I had with him was very empathetic.
Show the logs. Show the logs. Do you guys remember the last time Ian showed text conversations? It was between him and Froggy Fresh. And Ian is talking one story with his lips, but his text conversations show an entirely different one. Oh, please show them.
I basically just said, like, I know you and Hila are experiencing a ton of harassment. And I essentially empathize with that. And I think there's something positive to get out of the conversation. But he refused to talk on the phone unless I was willing to publicly say something about my former editor and Denham's. As much as you don't want halfway friends, I also don't want that kind of halfway friend. I don't want someone who's going to give me like an ultimatum to have a conversation.
Could you not say something when this is like, imagine like one of you guys is like, Hassan actually wants to go to Israel, go to Gaza so he can strangle Israeli babies or some shit like that. I'd be like, you imagine me not saying something.
You're trying to make a one-to-one comparison where there isn't one. This guy that I follow on Twitter is not in the same relationship as you and one of your current employees who is streaming with you 3 days a week, 3 hours a day for the past 10 years. At one point during the stream, Ethan and Hila bring up Adam McIntyre. Now,
so he's not going to bring up show the text conversation, which kind of blows because I did want to go through it. I will say though, these last 2 points by idubbbz are like fucking valid. Like, do I think Ethan went? Do I think H3 went kind of overboard? Yes. Do I think what Ian and Anissa should have done is just fucking said nothing? First and foremost, they should have just said nothing. They didn't need to address all of this, but they were tone deaf in their podcast, and now I can say confidently, idubbbz is going overboard. This is too much. This is too much.
Now, Adam
McIntyre sucks, by the way.
Basically the same thing as my former editor. He's critical of Ethan and Hila, and he is sometimes uncharitable and nasty towards them.
Adam McIntyre needs to just like disappear. That guy is a piece of shit, like of the lowest order.
I never even stood by him when he talked bad about Trisha having a kid and called him like the spawn of Satan. He was supposedly on our side. I would never even co-sign that. I was disgusted by that statement too. I remember when he called her kid the spawn of Satan.
I never said anything
And
like
I was
that.
supposed to be like cheering on, but I wasn't going to cheer that on. That's disgusting.
Why do we forget that he called her children, which is something we would never do, the spawn of Satan?
It's disgusting.
Adam McIntyre was one of the grooming victims. Outside of that, I think Adam McIntyre sucks. I think he nailed it with the Colleen allegations. Good on him. The rest of the shit sucks shit. What's up, Jez? I'm doing great. What's up, Teo? We got the regulars coming in. I'm happy to see you guys.
And
a piece of shit of a human.
It's just incredible who ends up being the good guys in this story. You know, it's really something.
Unfortunately, they never made a statement. They never said that they disagree with his statements about Trisha's baby until it's useful. Like, what is it, 3 years later? Like, I mean, you're talking about it like you were aware of it at the time and that there was some amount of pressure or enthusiasm for you to get down with that. And what it sounds like to me is that you did see it at the time and you were like, ooh, I don't like that. And you didn't endorse it and you didn't fuck with it. Huh. It's almost like that is a fucking identical situation to me.
It's just incredible who ends up being the good guys in this story, you know.
I'll say, like, again, like, what Ian's saying is, like, correct here. Like, I don't remember Ethan and Hila making, like, a public statement about the baby Satan thing. But Ian now is trying to make... Well, Adam's not a kid anymore, so all the after adult stuff, I really don't care for Adam McIntyre. But idubbbz just said you can't make, like, he's making a 1-to-1 comparison where there is not a 1-to-1. And now here's idubbbz making a 1-to-1 comparison when this is not the same thing. Got you. Yeah. No, I got you, Teo. Thanks for clarifying. I'm a retard. But like calling oh yeah, I knew. This is why I'm not getting any of H3's viewers, because they're all watching H3 Ethan. I'm gonna actually, here's what I'm gonna do. I promise you guys. I'm gonna become a member to H3 so I can watch watch what they're saying about the content cop. But what was I getting at is Adam McIntyre calling a baby the spawn of Satan or whatever is not a 1-to-1 comparison for having someone, and I'm not even saying idubbbz should have said anything. That's not what I'm saying. This is not the 1-to-1 that he thinks it is. Here's calling a little baby Satan. Here is calling Hila Klein an Israeli baby killer who let their kids eat dog shit for CPS to get called. These are not the same thing. Ugh. Have some consistency, idubbbz. What he should have said was nothing. What he's doing is wrong. Now, this is an unmeasured response.
It's really something.
So yeah, the reason I'm bringing this up is because they're trying to like paint themselves as the good guys, and they're saying like, yeah, we strongly disavow things that are said, even about our enemies. We are the most immoral people on the internet. Unlike Ian and Anissa, who are fucking keeping to themselves. Also, why the fuck does Olivia get the pass?
What a fucking asshole for putting you in that position, Olivia. You're friends with him. And you don't have to say anything, but like, what a fucking piece of shit. What a bad friend to put you in that position just for some fucking clout. It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with him? Which is total bullshit, okay? Olivia did not do anything. And
I want the pass. Do I have to be an employee to get that treatment? Because then you'll just see me as an ally? Or is it because Ethan is afraid of wrongful termination accusations and lawsuits?
And also, I don't mind.
If that's the case, then that's like a valid reason to give someone the pass. I will say, if Ethan's afraid of having an employee sue him, yeah. I feel like that's not crazy. People who you talk to daily and know their heart and also pay them to work on your team, I feel like that's an okay to have a double standard there. Or do I sound like I'm writing H3's dick? Me? I was thinking meat when I said dick. Or does it sound like I'm writing Ethan's meat? You know what I mean? I don't know. When are you gonna make an Instagram video or make the Instagram video of watching the content I show you? We'll do that soon. That's why I haven't opened them yet, so we can do them on stream together. Enjoy your food.
Putting my friend Olivia, who's apparently my real friend, in a terribly weird, fucking uncomfortable situation where you end up getting hate for no reason.
Also, don't frame it as like other people making it hard on Olivia. You're making it hard on all of these people. Please acknowledge your role in this whole fucking thing. Like, it's crazy how warm Ethan is to Olivia and saying how Olivia is essentially just a victim in this whole thing.
It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with him? Which is total bullshit.
But me and Anissa are spineless. Ethan, your whole system is scrambled. My intention isn't to throw the employees under the bus. Like, you guys serve as the fucking foundation for calling out Ethan's hypocrisy on the whole subject. And I know that you guys have probably pushed back against Ethan over the years. How often are you supposed to do that? Do you have to do that every fucking week? It kind of seems like it. And that's exhausting. I don't want to confront my boss. It's not my fucking job to confront my boss and say, today's segment on rapists and pedophiles on Twitch was not my favorite segment to be a part of.
Yeah, friends like these.
Exactly, Pink Peach. We watched your podcast where you said you weren't going to say anything and that Ethan needs therapy and you wish him the best and the door is always open to talk. What you should have said was nothing. If that, I'm not even saying H3 Ethan is right, okay? Like, I don't think anyone is responsible for coming to anyone's defense at any time. But if you're going to choose to not come to someone's defense, you have the I'm going to stay silent option, which if you guys have watched any of my Apology Cop videos, you know that's the right way to do it. Look at the one I just made on JCS. Different situation, but he stayed silent and he came out on top after, however many months. So you can stay silent, but if you make a response, oh, hold on. This is a local number. I got to take this. Sorry about that, guys. I'm expecting a call from someone who can employ me in the real world. But the second you make a response to any sort of drama, that's you taking a side. And whatever you say, you ought to double down on or like be consistent with. So again, like we saw the podcast. We saw you say that's best to say nothing and you wish him the best. And so doing this shit is slimy.
Oh, yeah. And our other good friends.
Yeah.
Anissa and Ian. Thanks, Anissa, for standing up for your girl. I actually stood up for you so many times because, like, why would I not? It was crazy.
Yeah, why would you not? I mean, if that's truly what you believed and you weren't just going to use it later.
Of course I was going to stand by you. That's insane. It's absolutely insane and disgusting. But now you choose to hang out with people that would have a problem with you if you defended me.
I'm not going to assume that Hila knows, but I'll say it for anyone who doesn't know. Anissa is half Lebanese and half Irish. For anyone unfamiliar, the Irish have been on the receiving end of a lot of oppression and genocide. On the part of the Lebanese, they've received a lot of oppression and attacks from the IDF. So Anissa is very well familiar with the propaganda and the shit coming out of Israel. Choosing now, out of all the times, to be like, please defend me. No, we're not going to fucking defend you.
Rudy was saying that
That's a weird identity politics type of deal because I'm pretty sure I know Anissa is half Lebanese. What do we got, like Wikitubia or something? Yeah. So she is half Lebanese, half Irish. However, this woman, I'm pretty sure, was born in Canada. So she was born in Canada, now lives in America. Oh, apparently that's horrible. I didn't know that. Yeah, she's a dual citizen of Canada and the United States. So yes, in her blood, she may be Lebanese and Irish, but I don't know why people do this. I don't know why people do this at all. Like, yes, she is the race of some people, but she has not lived there. She has not lived the plight of the Lebanese people or the Irish people being Canadian American. Like, she's as far removed as fucking I am. I don't understand this weird identity groupthink politics, guys. Ethan is just Jew for these people, and that's off-putting. Yes. This is what Ethan Klein is for all of these people. This is their view of Ethan. Can it be bigger, please? This is the image they have of Ethan Klein, the happy merchant. This is the caricature they're building of Ethan Klein, and it's so fucking horrible. On the flip side of this, Ethan Klein did live in Israel. His wife is Israeli, like born there. Like, you can't say Anissa is half Lebanese, half Irish. You know, these people have historically been oppressed. Like, that's true. But don't say that as if she wasn't born in Canada and lived in Canada her whole life up until whenever she moved to America. She's a dual fucking citizen. She's not a citizen of either Lebanon or Ireland. She does not know the plight like he's leading on. Anissa also is confirmed, I think, to have fucked a 17-year-old boy, but that's beside the point. Ian, just say that flimsy CPS calls are bad. No real political statement, man. Just say that. Yeah, no, exactly. Or just say nothing. Or just say nothing. Or say nothing. Be okay with people hating you. That's it. That's it. Because these are the people who hate Ian are people who Ian already said he didn't want as an audience. So there's no losing for him. Just say nothing. Got chicken and potato wedges? That rocks. That rocks. Is this a Creator Clash ad or is he still not promoting that? No, I thought he promoted it. No, he promoted it. He yeah, Creator Clash, but he promoted it 2 months ago, but he's not. Yeah, he's gonna do a documentary. He's gonna do a documentary like he finally said he would. Because we all know idubbbz in his top-notch documentaries. He fucks over Airsoft Fatty. He's like, I don't know how his relationship with Dax Flame is. I would imagine it's still fine. But then he does that hit piece on Sam Hyde that didn't turn out to actually be a hit piece, so he never actually released it. Like, yeah, he's super good at documentary.
No, we're not gonna fucking defend you.
Rudy was saying that Palestinians are taught at 2 years old to kill Americans.
Do we have that one?
mean, like just the other day, BB fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about.
He looked mean. I thought he was mean just because he looked mean.
No, it's not.
So yes, you caught us. We're not gonna run to your defense when, I don't know, we follow people. We be following. That's one fucked up thing that you can say about Anissa and I is when we're on Twitter, we do be following.
So.
Okay, so that is true. They do be following. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I thought there was more pictures. But they were all hanging out at Creator Clash. Where is it? Yeah, I always spell it with 2 S's on accident. Well, maybe they weren't all hanging out, but here's them. All at Creator Clash. All being besties. So you do be following, but you also be associating, and that's fine. Just say that.
The problem.
Okay. If you want to hang out with those people and have no spine and not stand up for another girl that stood up for you, enjoy your new friends.
She's friends with people like Denims.
I know.
Yeah. Which I'll show. Denims is actually participating in this whole child protective service lie.
He says over half of their current and former employees follow Denims. He's not getting upset with you for following people. It's the active association of them. Again, this is like so petty and so like meaningless. But like I follow Casey Anthony on TikTok. Does this mean that I love Casey Anthony? No. It means when she posts dumb shit, I want to see it without having to search for it, right? They're not talking about people you follow on Twitter. They're talking about you being friends with them, associating with them, co-signing the dumb shit they say. Like, there's no nuance here with what idubbbz is saying. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Which I'll
And if
show you
you're
guys
friends with
instead.
them, then you're seeing what they're saying.
You'll notice that Ethan and Hila start talking about this Denham's character. Originally, the complaint was...
Okay, hot take. Ian is gonna defend Denham's to the edge of the earth for two reasons. One, she is friends with Anissa. They've done work together. Two, Denham's is an OnlyFans girl, and we all know how Ian feels about OnlyFans girls. He'll kick people off of the Creator Clash event if you make fun of him.
about my former editor. He's been chatting shit about Ethan and Hila for the past year at least. They only care about it now because I guess it was spoon-fed to them via...
No, because it had real-world consequences! Because CPS got called on their children, that's why!
Reddit that's clearly looking out for them. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, where we are friends with Denham's, but I would say it's the same level of friendship that we had with Ethan and Hila. It's like kind of an internet friendship. We think that she's a good person like we think Ethan and Hila are good people. Kind of.
We think Denham's is a good person the same way we think Ethan and Hila are good people. I don't remember Ethan and Hila ever putting a hit out on Asmongold. Do you guys remember that? It doesn't matter if she was joking or not. She incited violence against Asmongold and offered a price tag. $30,000 she offered for someone to kill Asmongold. It doesn't matter. I'm like 95% sure it was Asmongold. It might have been this other guy. It might have been some other guy in the same like sphere as Asmongold. But it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think she was actually gonna pay out $30,000 for anyone. Hold on. We'll just play it. There we go. Yeah, it is Asmongold. Why is it muted? Oh.
30K to anyone who will make this dipshit disappear and make Eve's breasts bigger. Okay, you have to do both. All right?
Hold on. Let's play that at normal speed.
Listen, I'll up the number, okay? 30K to anyone who will make this dipshit disappear and make Eve's breasts bigger. Okay, you have to do both. All right?
Right. So yeah, we think Denham's is a good person, says the guy who fucking whatever. Whatever.
Kind of a tricky situation. How can you possibly think that they're both good people at their core? People can have crash out moments. People can say things that they don't mean. People can say things because they want internet clout and attention.
Asmongold literally does nothing. He's just like a centrist guy who seems very right-wing sometimes and very left-wing some other times, and these people are so fucking political brained that there's nothing beyond the politics with them, okay? If you don't agree with them ideologically and politically, then you know what? You're the fucking the scum of the earth. You are the scourge of their existence, and it's so fucking stupid. And so Asmongold, he must have said something that pissed off Denham's woke, super far leftist sensibilities, and thus offered $30,000 to make that dipshit disappear and make someone's breasts bigger. I like Asmongold. I think he's a pretty good guy. I don't agree with him on everything, of course, but this is how you can tell a normal person from a not normal person. Ian is a not normal person disguised as a normal person. He says shit normal people would say sometimes, but then does shit that not normal people do.
I don't know. I think they're both probably guilty of saying things that they don't mean for internet clout and attention. Right now, one's a little bit more...
Play the 30K clip.
...to me than the other.
I just don't see how you can be my friend and also be friends with someone like that.
Well, you can't. So I already forgot about you.
I actually have a lot of friendships that are kind of that way, where it's like, one of the friends doesn't fuck with the other friend, but there is someone in the middle who kind of fucks with both of them, but separately. Yeah, there's a lot of friendships that are like that. I'm not...
Okay, hold on. What the fuck did idubbbz just say?
I actually have a lot of friendships that are kind of that way, where it's like, you know, one of the friends doesn't fuck with the other friend, but there is someone in the middle who kind of fucks with both of them, but separately.
I feel like there's so much lore you have to know to find why this is funny. But to the dumb viewer, to the surface level viewer, it looks like Ian's like, I have this friend Ethan who doesn't fuck with Andrew Tate, and I'm in the middle. Even though I guess it's this guy Steiny in the middle. That was just a weird comparison to draw. I'm not reading too much into that because I don't know who the Steiny fella is, but whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of friendships that are like that. I'm not gonna make you guys like meet up and kiss or anything. I get it. You guys are in fucking... You're either my best friend who's deep-throating me to the base of my cock, or you are Satan. You're the devil.
The last thing I said to Anissa, we were texting before I ever talked about it. She's like, I don't care about this guy. He's a nobody and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, then you'll have no problem publicly denouncing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, the conversation ended.
She never replied.
Ethan, you can't even phrase it in a way that doesn't make you sound like you're being coercive and shitty. Well, then, you should have no problem publicly denouncing it, right? Does that sound like a friend? It kind of sounds like something a powerful villain would say.
But it was so funny how she immediately went to comment everywhere.
That's a valid critique, but again, like, we're 23 minutes in. This is what idubbbz does. Because, like, he's got, like, valid critiques. He'll, like, sprinkle them in between just, like, bullshit. Like, unintelligible bullshit. Like, what are we at? Like, 3 valid critiques now? But all of this is fucking stupid when you're on record saying you're not going to say anything about it. Ethan's nuke was so much better at jabs and edits. This is really bad in all metrics. This is going to warrant a content nuke from Ethan. Watching these two people fight and kill each other is going to be such good content. I'm excited for the rest of 2025.
Everywhere, like on our subreddit. She immediately had to comment like, oh, he doesn't work with us anymore. But that was it. That's all she said.
But then say that you don't
Okay, do you have anything else to say for your friends though?
One of the reasons Anissa was so quick to clarify things in your Reddit is because your Reddit was already talking about who this editor is. And they were spreading misinformation that it was our co-host on our podcast, Uncle Dane. So yeah, the last thing we wanted is this guy getting pulled into this mess, and you guys don't give a fuck. Would it have been nicer and more supportive to say, we don't agree with the things he's saying and we support Ethan and Hila? Sure. Like, yeah, that would have been a nicer thing to say. Our silence means something. It means that we would like to pause this relationship until you figure your shit out. And then maybe we can find a moment in time, I don't know how long it'll be, but a moment in time in the future where things are a little bit easier to broach. I don't think we need to do it right now, but you've insisted that this is an important thing to address. I would have been perfectly fine with you not blasting me on your Instagram story. I would have been perfectly fine with you not blasting me and my wife on your podcast twice. I would be fine with you not brigading my comment section on my podcast that gets 3,000 views a week because I prefer to not do harassment campaigns and instead talk about Vampire's Kiss.
So lots to unpack there. I'm gonna just... I don't have anything to back this up. I don't think that these comments are a brigade from Ethan Klein on the podcast that we were talking about, that we saw. I don't think that this is not a brigade from Ethan. So you can't say that. And again, idubbbz, your silence does mean something. But it also kind of sounds like you didn't explain what it meant to Ethan. So again, it's okay to just say nothing, which is what you should have done. But if you're going to respond to Ethan privately or publicly, explain what your silence means then, rather than let everyone guess and have it snowball out of control. Because now you're not the guy who's like, see, these guys are just being so crazy. Like, no, like you had a conversation where you clearly just didn't explain what you were actually feeling. And so Ethan went crazy in his head, because this is what everyone does. I don't blame Ethan for this. Like, you're not blameless here, pal. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, Grown, I go to therapy, man, thinks friendships get solved in silence and just say, figure your shit out. Yeah, no, exactly. This is like a big reason why I stopped going to therapy because I graduated, like I did well. But that was like, they need to find another therapist, because you need to go therapist shopping. First and foremost, Ian, I'm pretty sure, goes to the same therapist as his wife. His wife set up the therapy, and then they bring that therapist on their podcast, and the whole time they're just kind of shitting on Ian. Like, but also, like, some therapists, I've seen friends like go to therapy and then come out with this like weird sense of like, I'm the god of this world and like everything should bend to my will. Kind of like what Ian's going off of here. Like, this is what my silence should say something and you should know that. Like, versus like other therapists are like, you should probably talk this out, and here's how to talk this out in a healthy, constructive way. Like, hold your ground, but also be heard. This is not good. This makes you look so bad. But I guess if you're like a diehard Ian and Anissa fan, this actually, I could imagine, looks pretty good. But again, it's just, I feel like if you're in the middle on this issue, this doesn't make Ian look great. I'd like to think I'm on the middle on this issue, but I will say, like, with my past commentary, I could imagine that I maybe consciously or unconsciously have just already kind of decided or sided with Ethan from H3. But I don't know, man.
I would have been perfectly fine with you not blasting me and my wife on your podcast twice. I would be fine with you not brigading my comment section on my podcast.
Yeah, again, that was not a brigade from them.
Views a week, because I prefer to not to do harassment campaigns and instead talk about Vampire's Kiss.
Like, they say something like, he doesn't work for me, and I strongly dis.
Why his wife? Do you mean Ethan's wife or idubbbz's wife? Anissa's kind of the worst. And there was a podcast. We talked about it. If you watch my the Ethan Klein drama is pathetic video, it kind of explains everything there. But Anissa she's just as big a part of this as idubbbz is. It's just idubbbz is making the video by himself, and so he's getting like the brunt. But that's why we keep bringing up his wife, is because she's also just as big of a part in all of this as he is.
Agree, and I support Ethan and Hila. The problem is
that she doesn't.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
She actually
thinks they have a point.
That's the problem.
Yeah, so go fuck yourself.
I agree.
Go fuck yourself. What about your girl? This is what I'm talking about. This aggression that you're putting out into the world. What the fuck do you think we're gonna do? You think I'm gonna fucking sit on my hands when you do this shit? Like, this is nasty.
Yes.
We had such a fair response to what.
Yes, we think you're gonna sit on your hands because you fucking said you were gonna sit on your hands. I'm sorry. Oh, please tell me. I don't want to keep going back to this. I should have it downloaded. Yeah, I do.
Ready to work, ready to work, ready to work.
I think some of our connections, and we've tried to reach out to Ethan to talk privately. Basically, it just seems like we're at a bit of an impasse. So we want to stay out of the drama as much as possible. We don't want to pile on and add to anything. So this is our lukewarm addressing of it.
So I ask again, Ethan, or not Ethan, Ian, you said you were going to sit on your hands. What did you mean by that?
What the fuck do you think we're gonna do? You think I'm gonna fucking sit on my hands?
Yes! Just like you said you were going to! Although, I don't know why me or anyone else believed you actually were, because look at what you did to fucking Froggy Fresh for way less! Ah! You ruined an entire boxing event for like a tenth of this drama. Oh my word!
Like, this is nasty. We had such a fair response to what you guys were going through. We don't support harassment. It's a bad thing, but it happens, and you're perpetuating it.
You fucking propagandist, lying scumbag, terrorist supporter. He probably sets up a mirror and jerks off watching himself. Dan KKK Clancy has a similar view of Hitler. Because Dan Clancy, the Nazi, fucking anti-Semite.
You can't expect other people to stop harassing you if you continue to harass people.
That is such a non-starter. Ian has a problem with Ethan, right? And then pulls in all this other shit that has nothing to do with Ian and Ethan. Non-starter. And furthermore, everything Ethan just said has backing to it. I do not understand. I don't know how to explain it because it's not my first language. There's something so rotten with Ian. Spineless doesn't cover it. Yeah, he's a fucking, he's a quisling. He's a quisling. Quisling, a traitor who collaborates with an enemy force occupying their country. He's a quisling. Quisling.
Let's think about it on a micro level. Have you ever been in a comment section and found someone to argue with? It doesn't stop. It can literally go on forever if you don't want to touch grass.
I mean, yeah, this was kind of like a line, what happened today, that should never be crossed, even by like the most cynical, toxic people. It's going to have ramifications in terms of how I conduct myself. In terms of these fair weather friends who are, you know, so happy to be friends as long as they're getting something out of it.
Ethan, that is a rich thing to say. Like, you're the...
idubbbz is so gay. Come on, dude. That is a... like, oh, man. What happened to the content cop, guys? What happened? We're barely... We're almost halfway through, but it's so bad. Yeah, quisling is the word of the day. He's a fucking quisling, dude. He's a fucking quisling. And so Ian brings up, he's like, oh, I don't like to see our friendships as like quite transactional. But like he like fails to realize like most friendships are transactional. I do this thing that you like when I do. So you want to hang out with me and be in my space. That's a transaction. Or sorry, you want to be in my space. However, you must also do something that I like it when you do. And if those things transact and they keep transacting over time, that is what we call a relationship, a friendship. But when one person starts transacting in a way that the other person doesn't like, and they can't come to some sort of understanding, that's how a friendship or relationship breaks. Okay? All relationships are transactional, Ian. All of them. Like, I hate that, like no one's entitled to be your friend. You're not someone's friend just because you're someone's friend. It means there is a list of qualities you have that this other person really appreciates. And that other person has a list of qualities that they have or actions that they do that you really appreciate. And there's a mutual understanding and a mutual want to be together. That is a relationship. That is how a friendship works. And so when Ethan and Hila bring up, I've done this, and this for them, it was shocking that you didn't do this one thing for me. The transaction was broken. Like, they're totally within their rights to feel like that. Absolutely. And it's like I don't understand how Ian doesn't understand that. Like, this was a big thing for them that they really would have liked you to come through for them with. as they've done for you several times in the past. And when you didn't do that, it was a hurt to trust and your relationship. The transaction was void. And thus, it must have been, clearly it was a big enough interaction for the friendship to be ended over it. How can you not understand that? Like, if you could come to this with that understanding, you would seem a whole lot more human, be like, hey, listen, couldn't get behind what they were doing. I understand why they feel like that. This is a much bigger deal for them than it is for me, and we're just not going to see eye to eye on this. We're not going to be friends anymore. That is how you address this. But no. Give me 2 seconds. I have to pee, so we're going to give you the Hassan Piker experience. Hold on.
The H3 podcast, okay? There's a lot of friends of the show. There's even more fair weather friends of the show. Let's not get into this shit, okay? That is so bizarre and insulting to suggest that I was only ever being friends with you to get something out of it. No, I'm friendly with you, and I'd say I'm a light friend because it's been pleasant hanging out with you. I've enjoyed your content over the years, and as of late, it's gotten really fucking shitty.
Yeah, so go fuck yourself.
Say that then in your conversations. Say that. When they ask, why are you not coming to our defense? Say, listen, not gonna lie, dude, it's been kind of shitty hanging out with you. It's been kind of shitty interacting with you lately. And I'm not in a place where I want to come defend you. Like, you cut your statistics study session in half for this. Let's go. Fire. But that's what you do. If your therapy is working, then you should have the kind of like not even like balls, but like the common decency to say it's been not really great being your friend lately. And that's why I'm not doing this. Like, does that make sense? You know, they want to talk like this moral high ground, this and that, but in reality, they're shitty. They're the shitty friends too. Own it. If it's been so bad, tell them that.
I agree.
Who else? Who else do we want to burn?
They could just lack emotional intelligence. You know, I want to say that, but idubbbz told us himself that he has actually gained emotional intelligence. He's gained emotional intelligence. So where's the transcript here? Let's show the transcript. Let's find, hold on. Here we go.
I never did. I think only in these past couple of years have I gained the ability, empathy, and I'm very ashamed to admit that. It sounds really pathetic to say at the age of 32 I've acquired empathy.
He's acquired empathy, guys. So it's not that he just lacks the emotional intelligence. No, guys, because at 32 years old, he's learned how to be empathetic. He's learned it. So this content cop is not because Ian lacks empathy. It's because Ethan Klein is the devil.
Today.
Who else do we want to burn today? You're making it so fucking obvious that this is your emotional dumping ground. It's horrible. This is not what podcasts are. There was a way to approach this.
This is exactly what podcasts are. You know how I know? Because Ethan Klein's podcast does really, really well. Versus this sorry excuse for a podcast where they do on average 3,000 views per podcast. Sorry, Ian, you still have no legs to stand on criticizing how Ethan runs his podcast. Because Ethan is rolling in it. His podcast fucking works. Yours does not. They have 36,000 subscribers. They've been doing this for 2 years. For 2 years. Yeah, Ian. Yeah, you know how to run a podcast, pal.
Yeah, we feel hurt by you guys not saying something. You've decided to do the extra thing and attack. Now, in fairness, I am attacking back, but I feel very insulted and I feel defensive and I feel like I am speaking up for a lot of people who have problems with you and a lot of people who have been on the receiving end of your harassment.
It's so easy to be anti-racist. Everybody's anti-racist. Racism is the worst thing in the world, right? We fucking hate racists. Fuck racists.
Microaggressions.
The minute that they actually have to stick their neck out for somebody, the minute they have to actually risk something to put themselves in under scrutiny, to sacrifice something personally to stand up for racism, then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I don't want to get involved.
And that's drama.
How much do you care?
I don't do drama.
How much
Sorry.
do you actually care? If you're, isn't that the whole point? Like,
I realize that Ethan and Hila are more scared.
Everything Ethan said just there was like absolutely correct. It was absolutely correct. Like it's oh hey kitty, sorry. My kitty is just like actively trying to ruin my stream right now. Hey, go away. Like you're not I don't want you playing with my toes. They bite and scratch my toes. Like my big toe is always bleeding because of these cats. But yeah, like Ethan's absolutely right. These are the same people advocating for the eradication of one group of people from a little sliver. My streams were ruined. Why are you a mod? I'm just joking. No, but they're like actively campaigning for one group of people being exiled from a strip of land that is big enough for both of them. I say that vaguely because you could apply this to either one. But yeah, they're anti-racist except for when they have to actually speak up and sacrifice and have like a level-headed take. I don't understand what Ian's problem is with this.
Now than they've probably ever been. I feel like anti-Semitism is a thought in their heads now more than ever. And it's not completely unjustified to be thinking about that sometimes. You guys are just hurt and you're kind of like dancing around and making...
Hold on, what?
Like something personally to stand up for racism, then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I don't want to get involved.
And that's drama.
How much do you care?
I don't do drama.
How much
Sorry.
do you actually care? If you're, isn't that the whole point? Like,
I realize that Ethan and Hila are more scared now than they've probably ever been. I feel like anti-Semitism is a thought in their heads now more than ever. And it's not completely unjustified to be thinking about that sometimes. You guys are just hurt and you're kind of like dancing.
Whoa. In the midst of the era where Jewish people are being not expelled, but not being allowed to go to class because there's pro-Palestinian protests that are actively targeting Jewish students on campus, in a time where real anti-Semitism is at an all-time high, both from people who are incredibly pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas. Those are not the same two groups of people, by the way. You can be pro-Palestine without being pro-Hamas. Like it seems like Ethan and Hila are. Or you've got the anti-Semites from the people who just hate Palestine and just like legitimate like people who just hate Jews. Ethan and Hila are more than a little bit justified in thinking about anti-Semitism as much as they are. When Hassan Piker brings on a Houthi terrorist who's the group he's a part of, their motto is death to America, death to Israel, something about killing all Jews or some shit like that. When Hassan Piker brings that guy on and signal boosts his message and paints him out to just be this like rebel group crusader, yeah, they're more than a little justified in thinking about anti-Semitism as much as they are. You know, the Holocaust was only 80 years ago. Again, I'm not saying there's a genocide of Jewish people. I'm not an expert on this conflict. However, there are very vocal people who are calling for the decimation of the Jewish race and religion. So it's not crazy of them to have this on their mind, being both Jewish and one of them being like legitimately Israeli. Ooh, idubbbz. That is a bad take, pal. That is bad.
Around and making very like loose, poorly thought out analogies for something that doesn't even apply to us. It's like me making this video is the standing up for something, and it's saying fuck you. You guys are being bad. You know, I don't think you're bad people, but you're being bad. You're behaving poorly. You're hurting people.
I mean, go back to the civil rights. You think that the people who are like the white kids who are protesting with the black students, you think that they were just like not risking anything? Those kids who are marching with the black students and...
So in Ethan's analogy, he's the black student and I'm the white student, but I'm the white student that's not, you know, marching by his side. I'm not doing the difficult thing. You're gonna have to march on your own, black student.
Marching with the black students and...
I mean, why is it inspiring? Why is it inspiring?
Well, and it's the same thing, to bring it back to Hassan just because, but it kind of is the same thing. Like, I was thinking about going to Gaza until I found out it's dangerous. He's a total performative activist that doesn't give a single fuck about the cause.
It's been performed exquisitely. Harassing one person and seamlessly transitioning into harassing another one. If anyone's been watching for the past fucking year, I'm pretty sure they have a good idea of your feelings about Hassan.
Like, people like Anissa are the perfect example because she's friends with these people. She's friends with Denims. Denims is streaming this story about our kid
I'll show that, yeah.
Getting Giarda from the dog, whatever.
I'm sorry, I'll accept this take, this position from anyone except you guys. You have laid the groundwork for this type of streaming, which is watching people's shit and giving your unfiltered reaction to it. Why would you?
Are you guys lost? I'm so lost right now. What is he talking about? I know they just said Anissa just now, but I'm so lost of what the fuck Ian's talking about right now. We're so beyond the point we were all trying to make. Sum this up, Ian, in one sentence. Ethan has put me in a group of people he doesn't like, and as such, I'm receiving the same amount of hate that those other people are getting because he's giving the whole group hate, which is a criticism in and of itself. I just summed up the whole point.
You expect Anissa, of all people, to say something to Denims. Okay, so by that logic, we should be saying shit to you guys all the time. But I have a feeling you guys wouldn't like if we said shit like that to you all the time. Yeah, we've been respecting you as independent content creator.
All right, fourth fair point.
You can do what you want. We'll treat you as adults. Maybe we shouldn't have been treating you as adults.
She could say so much, and it would make her a little bit uncomfortable, right? It's not comfortable. She'll get a little bit of shit.
This is unwatchable by itself. In the old content cops, I'm not gonna pull them up, but in the old content cops, you didn't have to know. Like, I didn't know who Rice Gum is or who Rice Gum was when I watched the Rice Gum content cop. I had no idea who he was. I had no idea who Tana Mojo was. I had no idea who most of those food reviewers were. I had no idea who Jinx was until I watched those content cops and I was given full lore. This, you have to understand so many things to like get what's going on here. You're still on the whole anti-Semitism doesn't apply to me because I'm not Jewish and it doesn't matter. Right. Cucktent Cracker would be far more entertaining. I should change the name to that.
Yeah, just for
but
saying
that would be
which
commendable.
And by the way, it kind of speaks for itself. That's
idubbbz, just go back to saying the N-word, dude. Just go back to saying the N-word, bro. We all liked it. We all thought it was funny. Everyone thought it was funny. Just go back. Just go back to saying the N-word, bro.
saying, hey, there.
I'm joking, but houses claimed.
Stick
with what you're good at.
Their you know, they're actually good people, like that's going to get you shit. That kind of says it all, doesn't it?
There isn't a single person that I respect who would give a fuck if I publicly said that Ethan and Hila are great with their kids, Ethan and Hila didn't kill their dog, and Ethan and Hila wipe their asses or don't have giardia or whatever the prompt is. No one would care. The only person who would care is me, because I'm like, why did I tweet this out? I'm not tweeting out because I'm not your fucking lapdog. That's why I'm not tweeting it out. I'm not saying it to my audience because I don't give a fuck. It's not my business.
That's, in my opinion, doing something that's different.
All right. Fucking telling. So say that. Say that when you addressed it. Like, all of Ethan's criticisms, I feel like, have been valid because they talked about it. And what Ian is saying here is much different than what he said in the podcast. And it seems like what he said to Ethan earlier. Like, all of that is fine. If you don't give a fuck, don't give a fuck. Say that. Say that when the person who's asking you to give a fuck confronts you about it.
Difficult and standing by your principles. That's the whole point. That's what makes standing by your principles admirable, is that it's not always easy.
Why are you saying that I'm not standing up for my principles when you don't even know what they are? I get, like, we're...
Oh, truer words have never been said by idubbbz. Oh, let's play that back. Let's run that back, chat.
Standing by your principles admirable, is that it's not always easy.
Why are you saying that I'm not standing up for my principles when you don't even know what they are?
Because idubbbz's principles are changing every other day. How could Ethan know what they are? Also, he collabed with Noah Samson and who the yeah. We missed the. Did you miss the beginning part? Right, exactly. What principles though? You can't have principles. I mean, I guess you can, but if they're changing all the time and so wildly and drastically, then like you can't. Yeah. Ian, come on, dude. Go back to saying the N-word.
I get, like, we're a little bit past directly naming me, so we might have gone off on a tangent. If you maybe accepted the phone call and we talked about it, you could have asked me, hey, what are your principles?
That's real,
and I
Teo.
can tell you the way I've been behaving is exactly in line with my principles. Now we're going to talk about the BDS list. We're going to start off with Frogan because obviously this is like as bad as it gets. If you're following Frogan...
What is the BDS list? Befriend, discuss, social media follow. This better be good.
Exactly in line with my principles. Now we're going to talk about the BDS list. We're going to start off with Frogan because obviously this is like as bad as it gets. If you're following
Frogan fucking blows. I cannot believe he's defending Frogan.
Frogan, that can only mean that you're anti-Ethan.
Yes.
Not a good start. Love of the H3 podcast. You are following Frogan, so that means that you are anti-Ethan. Sam, Morg Pie, friend of the show. Olivia, Ian, Daily Dose of Internet is anti-Ethan. Jesus, this is fucked up. Pokimane.
They never said this.
Asmongold's in here. Asmongold follows Frogan. No, Asmon.
They never said this. They never said this. They never said if you're following these people on Twitter that there must be because they're anti-Ethan. They never said that. You, Ian and Anissa, have a deeper friendship outside of social media with these people, and that's what Ethan has a problem with. Now, you can say that it's no business of Ethan's, and if he has an issue with it, then that's fucking crazy, which is super fair, which is fair. But you can't then be like, just because we follow these people, we're anti-Ethan. Like, no, retard. You're like on purpose missing what they're saying. I'm not even saying what they're saying is like legit. I think Ethan Klein is retarded in a bunch of ways. And I think you are retarded in a bunch of ways. Okay? That's not the problem here. You're putting something out into the world that they didn't say, and you're saying that they said it. Like, would two retards make a right? No. 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 They should kiss and make up. They should kiss and make up. Ethan never said, if you're following these people, you're anti-Ethan. That was never said. That was never alluded to. You could almost make the case about the Froggy Tonic incident. Almost. Right? And Ethan, I still think, reading too far into it. But because you guys had a conversation and didn't explain what your silence meant, even though you weren't being silent, like, all charity is lost here. This is so, oh my gosh, this is silly.
That means you're anti-Ethan. That's fucked up. We're going to want to avoid these creators at the top of the list, but...
all three of these, unprovoked, attacked Ethan Klein.
One tier...
okay?
Here below them are the creators who associate with them. They're essentially endorsing all of their statements. You got me, you got Anissa, I think Hassan's in there. You'd think that Hassan would be on the top of the BDS list, but that's not the case. Hassan provides additional value for people. Ethan can turn a blind eye to people collaborating with Hassan because that's what he did. You gotta be the lowest of the low to be associating.
I'm like 95% sure Ethan got really mad at Theo Von for having him on the podcast, as well as a shit ton of people online got mad at Theo Von.
With the Frogans and the Denims of the world. To associate with Hassan, that just makes sense because he's famous and he's got a massive fan base. Also, Ethan still follows Hassan on Instagram, so Hassan is in his feed.
Exactly my point! Exactly my point! Ethan follows Hassan! The following means nothing! The only person who's making a big deal of people following each other is you, idubbbz. That's exactly what I was saying.
Right up on Anissa's and idubbbz feed.
It's important to remember that this is a living document and people can be removed or put onto it depending on how Ethan's feeling that day. You have this other tier of creators that exist below Hassan but are still anti-Ethan, but Ethan really doesn't want to bring your attention to these ones because it's kind of unpopular, you know? A lot of them are famous. It's no coincidence that...
I don't think Theo Von is anti-Ethan. Theo Von had Hassan Piker, J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, Candace Owens, a shit ton of people on his podcast. And I'm sure people got mad about all of those people. I know, I'm like almost 95% sure Ethan had a problem with Theo Von bringing Hassan on his podcast. But again, your point falls so fucking flat. Theo Von's not anti-Ethan.
Ethan stays silent when these powerful, popular men are...
Or maybe he's trying to... No. Ethan doesn't even think... Sorry, I actually fell for what idubbbz was doing. Ethan doesn't think that Theo Von is anti-Ethan. Like, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. The only person who's making this comparison is you, idubbbz. The only person who's going this far is you.
Supporting Hassan, it's because Ethan is a coward. He's a bitch-made coward. I think Ethan has an unreasonable amount of respect for these comedians because they have power, they're quick, and I think he knows that they don't fuck with his ideology. But he's gonna keep that to himself because the last thing that he wants to discover is that people that he respects and looks up to, they don't fuck with him.
That is like point for point what idubbbz did to all of his fans. Anyone on the Super Sigma Cool Discord server should do the poll you just sent out. Hold on. That's got to be my Discord if you're talking Super Sigma. Should do Christian Sunday and have a roll. You want me to like talk about my faith? I'm down. I like you put the trans flag for no. Down. That sounds awesome.
came on. It was like the worst fucking show. It was just horrible. That was like my lowest moment on podcast history. We could talk about Bill Burr ruined my life. Bill Burr made Ethan go on Lexapro. I was prescribed it and it was in my bedside. And then it was the Bill Burr episode.
Bill Burr, there is like a super solid. Bill Burr did ruin Ethan's life. Like, was like one of the first people to ever really cut Ethan down at the knees. That was such a just an awkward podcast to get through. That was back when I was still an H3 fan. That was just like such a, like, it was so, I was cringing the whole time because Ethan and Bill, they just didn't really like mesh. Like Bill, like, I mean, he's Bill Burr, right? So he's going to kind of like roast you. Like I don't think Bill was like trying to ruin Ethan's life or anything. Ethan thought he was bigger shit than he was and like could not understand. You know, he hadn't been podcasting for long enough to know where the line was to be drawn, and Bill kind of told him where to draw the line. But Ethan, he couldn't handle it.
Made me finally start.
When Stavros goes on Hassan's stream and he mocks your content nuke.
I actually saw a really interesting video about you, man, and I don't know that I'm even comfortable being here anymore.
Oh no.
It really kind of shed light on you in a way.
Yeah.
You kind of like have leftist politics and stuff like that. And I actually feel betrayed.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually just here to let you know this is the last time I'm ever coming.
You don't fire back because you're coping. So you're just going to tuck your tail between your legs and never mention on your podcast that mentions everything.
Ethan's not coping, dude. Ethan is not friends with those people. It triple hurt Ethan when he asked you to stick up for him and you didn't because you guys are friends. These randos who are on Hassan's podcast or who are platforming Hassan aren't friends with Ethan. Like, I don't understand the parallel here. There's no parallel. You're like, why me? Why me? Why me? Well, because you were his fucking friend, and the friendship had a falling out. Now, it seems like Ethan... Well, it did seem like Ethan was crashing out about the friendship falling apart more than you are, Ian. But now it looks like you're the one crashing out more. Oh, why me? Why me? Why me? When all these other people are friends. No, you fucking dipshit. Because you two were supposed to be friends. That's why you and not them.
You're bringing up some fucking connection I have on Twitter. Someone mocks you on a stream, you're not touching it. Fuck you, you're a coward. It's just his job. It's just what he does for his job. You know, he doesn't mean it. We're actually good friends. You know, he makes...
Oh, they are friends.
It's not just me, right? Oh, also...
Okay, either friends or a guest of the show. I didn't know that.
So I can't forget about Matt Lieb. Matt Lieb is in this like middle tier. His valuable association is Rhett and Link. So Rhett and Link, conveniently, are also in this category of popular and powerful men who Ethan does not want to burn bridges with. Although he's sniffing around.
This guy, Matt Lieb, he works for Good Mythical Morning. Of all people, this guy, Matt Lieb, who apparently is a producer for Good Mythical Morning. Well, this guy works for Good Mythical Morning, acting like he's wholesome, and he's bringing on somebody that wants to kill my wife, or in a video game. And I think he should be fired, frankly. And I hope he is fired. He's pathetic, and he interviewed basically a terrorist.
I think Ethan only respects power right now, which is one of the reasons I made this video in the first place, is because he thinks I'm weak. He thinks a lot of these other creators that he's gone out of his way to attack, he thinks that they're weak, and he thinks they're a target that he can bully, he can manipulate, he can send lawsuits to, and I want him to know that we're not going to be bullied.
All right, so let's break this down. I'm going to let him finish, but we're going to break down all the people he just mentioned.
You're being a piece of shit, and we're going to call you out.
Okay, so...
creators that he's gone...
Mika's Rhetoric, that's this fat lady here. Mika's Rhetoric made this whole video where she basically said nothing except for she's not a fan after Hassan and Ethan stopped doing their podcast. This person here, do I use the politically correct term or do I use the term that I've been using since I was able to speak? We'll be politically correct in case I want to edit this down for only Jack's Live. This is a little person. This is someone who suffers from dwarfism. They went on TikTok and made this whole like fake account of what happened when Ethan brought this little person on the podcast. So the story here was Ethan had a show with like his dad and some comedian where the comedian had a joke in which they used the word midget. They were like, midgets scare me, whatever. So the H3 podcast was like, well, we have a fan who suffers from dwarfism who would love to come on and like humanize the plight of little people for you. And so this person, I don't forget if it's a man or a woman, but this little person comes on and has a pretty constructive conversation with the comedian who had the midget joke, right? And then comes on with Ethan to discuss the productive conversation that they had. Okay, that was like years ago. Like 3 months ago, the little person went on TikTok to be like, oh, like it was so bad. They disrespected me. Like they clearly just brought me on as a joke, whatever. And so Ethan brings that TikTok on the podcast to be like, hey, no, that's not what happened. This is a lie. So this person was like lying for clout on Ethan. So no shit. Like Ethan didn't bully either of these two people. These two people launched an attack, and they also know that if you talk shit about Ethan Klein, big or small, he's going to bring you on the podcast and shit on you for better or for worse. So you can't say they're like unwilling participants in this. Ethan Klein's been doing this since day one. So there's that.
Way to attack. He
didn't go out of his way to attack anybody. All three of these people hate Ethan and have perpetuated the conspiracy theory that Ethan let his kids eat dog shit. So I'm not even going to talk about that one.
They're weak, and he thinks they're
same deal.
A target that he can bully, he can manipulate.
This person went on TikTok to say that they hope Ethan's kids do get taken away because Ethan's a bad father, because instead of taking care of his kids, he's running a podcast. And then there's fucking Denims again. Like Ian's framing all these people as if they didn't have a part in this. You have your opinion. Like, it's fine to have an opinion and be like, hey, Ethan Klein is such a big creator. He shouldn't be giving these little people, he shouldn't be giving these smaller creators or like smaller clout people, all this attention when they talk shit about him. Okay, valid criticism. However, every single person in these thumbnails have been an Ethan Klein fan. They know that Ethan Klein will shit on you whether you have 0 followers or 1 million followers. It doesn't matter how big your platform is. If Ethan Klein perceives that you've crossed him, he will go after you. Like, everyone knows this. And then they go to talk shit on Ethan and they wind up on his podcast. Now, I'm not saying that Ethan Klein should be doing that, or that this should serve as encouragement to not talk shit on Ethan Klein. However, the same way it's free speech when you do it, it's free speech when he does it. Like, you know what you're getting into. It's not bullying. Like, be ready for Ethan Klein coming after you and stand on business. Like, that's the solution.
He can send lawsuits to, and
said that Ethan Klein is promoting genocide. Said that Ethan Klein is promoting genocide. Said that Ethan Klein and Mudahar is promoting genocide. Next.
I want him to know that we're not going to be bullied. You're being a piece of shit, and we're going to call you out.
So here's the button. You've got a video and you've got an audio. We're hitting both.
I love the button. I don't know what the critique is here. Ethan Klein, so that button, what it does is it removes the last 15 seconds of the podcast so it never goes live. I don't understand what the critique is here. When Ethan says something crazy and he realizes that he just said something fucking crazy, he cuts it out as to not perpetuate whatever the craziness was. That's a good thing, no? Like, don't you want him to be realizing when he says crazy shit so he doesn't say crazy shit? That's a good thing, right? Like, that's a good thing.
Yes.
There's no point.
Let's leave.
Yeah, there's no need.
Yeah.
I don't want that. But shit. Like, how pathetic are you? Don't worry if you don't have it all now. I'll garnish your wages. I don't like pedophile. Like the Eye of Sauron. I see you. I see you out there, you fucking cockroach.
The only thing I green is my 2 Persian cats. I should find my ukulele. We should do a revival of that first apology cop I did. Oh, Colleen Ballinger. That was such a good one.
Be living with your parents for a lot longer, buddy. Yes, please. I want to be a good you. I'm a good you. Please, guys, please.
No. Yeah, I don't think it was that.
That was fine.
Big a deal. Of all the things,
Anywho,
it always surprises me what you think crosses the line.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about the button. Now we've moved into the content cop. 37 minutes in, we're finally on the content cop portion. Because this whole 37 minutes was when me and Ethan aren't friends anymore because we had differences. When. 37 minutes. Now we're moving on to the button. The button, I don't know what he's going to say, but this is content copable. Sure. Yeah.
Olivia, and she's like, yes, do it.
Now let's talk about the button. Ethan got this button, or kill switch, as a response to the controversy with Cutie Cinderella. He was not able to...
That shit was so funny.
...in that moment, and instead of figuring out...
Just in case idubbbz doesn't give the full context. So, a Twitch streamer... So, there's Cutie Cinderella. Some Twitch streamer who was, like, friends with Cutie Cinderella... like accidentally showed on their stream that they had been looking at AI generated porn of Cutie Cinderella, and Cutie Cinderella starts like goes on her own streamer video and starts crying. Like that was really traumatizing for her, and like absolutely she should feel all those emotions. For whatever reason, this made Ethan start like cackling. I forget why. I think it's because like I think he explained it as like watching someone else be that uncomfortable like was like funny to him somehow. Like Ethan obviously thinks the whole situation was horrible, but he like couldn't control his laughter. And so it was like super funny to watch because it's like so out of place. And it like cuts to all of his crew like, oh, well, we should just watch it. Hold on. Like, this is so classic. Check this out.
Oh, here it is. Sorry, my bad. Here it is.
This is why they have the button, by the way. Like, this is a very good reason to get the button. Look how fat Ethan... Oh, I'm covering Ethan. Look how fat he is. Good for him. He lost so much weight. I'm, like, really proud of him.
The stupidest thing I've ever done. Genuinely, probably. And I'm sure everyone in the world would tell me.
Oh, no. Someone put on funny music, I think, and that's why Ethan was laughing uncontrollably. Yeah, no. You're back from buying stuff. What did you miss? Oh, well, 37 minutes into the content cop, Ian is finally now policing content. They're talking about Ethan Klein's button that he has on the podcast, which is, let me know if you need me to explain what the button is, but this is why they have the button. Watch this.
Not to go live right now. I'm sure everyone would. I'm like, don't even want to look at my phone. I'm sure everybody would. But I wanted to go live. I want to go live because this is what pain looks
So look, he's starting to crack here.
It looks like. Okay.
I forget. He's cracking up.
This is what it looks like.
I don't know why. It's not funny.
Fucking internet. Fuck the constant exploitation and objectification of women.
Because she was actually wronged here. Like, again, like, I don't know why he's laughing, because he also thinks she was wronged in this situation because someone put her face on like some like AI generated porn and like she's addressing it.
It's exhausting.
I think he's thinking about playing the Chestnut song, the ones that's like, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. I think he's thinking about playing it, and I think that's why he's cracking up. And then I think he goes on and plays it because like the juxtaposition is pretty funny, but also it's not funny because she's like a victim in this situation.
It's exhausting. Fuck Atrioc.
Look, he's thinking about it.
Thousands of people.
He's thinking about it.
Fuck the people DMing me pictures of myself from that website.
This poor girl too. That must. I can't even imagine like having that kind of stuff circulated on the internet. That's gotta be so horrible. I do feel really bad for her.
This is what it looks like. This is what the pain looks like. Okay.
He's considering it. You can see the wheels turning in his head. Like he knows he shouldn't play the Chestnut song. He knows he shouldn't. That's a
Sorry, don't.
That's a weird thing to say, Mr. Gamer. We're gonna just remove that one.
Don't mind me.
If you are able,
there it is.
Are benefiting off of
Why?
being seen sexually.
Who played that? Who played that? Yeah, which one of the crew played that?
Being seen sexually.
Look, all the crew's laughing too. Who played that? It'll cut to one of their crew who just does not think it's funny. Yeah, look. So that incident is why the button, why they have the button to remove shit like that from the podcast. Oh, that's so good. Anyway, watch Ian spin this like Ethan's the devil.
He was not able to control himself in that moment, and instead of figuring out how he can change his behavior, he spent $20,000.
Dan and Hila were like,
"Oh my word!"
That right now, if we could. I can't change who I am.
Someone played the Chestnut song, and that's what was cracking him up. He was. Yeah, the button is like very expensive. I forget why. But why are you shitting on Ethan? Like, he did change his behavior. Instead of letting that shit go to air, he spent $20,000 on a device that would make sure, in the case where he slips up and does something that he knows he shouldn't do, he can remove it before it goes to air. Now, you could say that this is only to save face for Ethan because he's still the horrible person, whatever, and that's fine. Okay. But Ethan made quite the investment. Yes. Ethan made quite the investment to make sure the stuff he's putting out is, at least to Ethan, like wholesome and not damaging content to, whatever. Like he wants to make, like again, like both of those cases are pretty weak cases, but I feel like the button is a good thing. Like, let's say Ethan were to say something, like I'm sure that happens with the button, that's like could be taken in some like horrible way that shouldn't get released. Button, and that's what he uses it for. Like someone played the Chestnut song during that girl crying, which was fucking hilarious. In a very dark humor, relax liberal, it's called dark humor. In a very dark humor type of way, Ethan thought it was funny because the same way idubbbz would think it's funny, the same way Ethan, Filthy Frank, all those guys would think it's funny. Like, yes, having a button is a good thing. Having a button is a good thing. Every live show on TV has a button. Everyone who's worth their salt has something akin to a button. So, non-starter idubbbz.
I know. That's why the kill button is on its way.
That's it. See, exactly.
He uses the button for everything. If his jokes don't land, he's hitting the button.
It was being presented as if the Jordan crying thing.
I hit the button.
Why?
I don't think I needed to, but you guys were giving me crickets, so I panicked.
Oh, wah. Ethan uses the button he spent money on when he wants to use the button. Wah. I think idubbbz is just mad because he can't afford a button. Well, I think he could though. I think he could afford a button, or at least Anissa could. I think her OnlyFans is doing really well.
Secure about getting something wrong, he's hitting the button.
But okay. What? Button for that? What on this frame could Ethan have responded to? Perhaps the country flag that he got wrong? Maybe. I don't know.
If he goes on a problematic tirade, he's hitting the button.
Before, look how sad. But yeah, it's not just that. Like their eyes are like big. I think you guys are all wrong on this one.
I don't think he's
Ethan's using the button for the reasons he bought the button. What are you on about, Ian? What? How is this a critique? Oh, I hope he's got something better cooking. It's his party. He can cry if he wants to. Let me put me back in the right corner of the screen. It's Ethan's party. He can cry if he wants to. Like, what? Yeah, it's a joke, dude. Chill. What are you talking about? Oh my word, what a pussy this guy is.
I think if all of us had buttons, we'd hit the button all the time.
Yes!
But if you don't have it, you operate differently. You think about what you're saying. You maybe plan for your show a little bit more. You maybe say, I'm not going to have my podcast be an emotional dumping ground for today. You instead say, ooh, it's important that we stay on topic. Also, the H3 community
non-starter
use the phrase goblin mode all the time to excuse a lot of his shitty behavior or make it seem less bad.
I've been diagnosed with goblin mode, actually.
By claiming that what happens is he just gets into this like uncontrolled state he refers to as goblin mode.
I do not call myself goblin mode.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's what you did.
Goblin mode? Is that what you're calling Tourette's now?
To all victims of goblin mode, I would like to issue an apology.
You are goblin mode today. You're goblin mode. Look how many times you paused the
I'm trying, bro.
And I don't think there's no room for using the term goblin mode. I like the idea that you're defending yourself and the little guy by going goblin mode when a big corporation or a big entity is trying to attack you.
Like, if you fuck me over, if you steal money from me, if you patronize me, if you do any of this shit like you're trying to do to me, to treat me like a fucking idiot, I'm crazy, dude. I've gone fucking goblin mode over way less.
But you not thinking about what you're saying, not, reflecting on your behavior, not changing your behavior, that's not goblin mode. That's being a child. Let's talk about the crew. I think
it's not goblin mode. He's right. Sometimes Ethan says something that has carries a lot of weight, and he fully stands behind it outside of goblin mode. And so he doesn't use the button. What? Ian. He's like, I think if everyone had a button, people would act differently. Yes, people love watching. I don't like Ethan much anymore, but people love watching Ethan because he's very authentic. He is edgy still in a different way than he used to be. But when Ethan realizes he's crossed a line, or even if he just didn't think a joke landed as good as he wanted it to, he will use the button. Because Ethan, in the moment, can realize something went horribly wrong. And so he uses the button. Sorry, idubbbz, that the H3 podcast, the H3 show, is more of a stream of consciousness type deal and not a scripted, story time podcast. Sorry. But when you engage in real human conversation, when you engage in real human stream of consciousness thought, sometimes you say some shit that, you don't actually agree with and you wouldn't really want to defend. And so Ethan, for those situations, has a button. He's got a button, pal. Sorry. What? How do I say this? Only Giovanni all the time. I'm an ex Ethan fan, but this video sucks. Yeah. Exactly. I'm an ex-Ethan fan also. But welcome back, Leo. Imagine having a serious discussion about the term goblin mode. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Go back to saying the N-word, idubbbz. Seriously.
Has been put in the worst working environment that you possibly can be for a fucking podcast. Every crew member has it bad.
They can leave! What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Ian? You are no better than a snarker right now, Ian. Ian. Oh my gosh. Backseat driving on the fucking crew. Yes. Thank you, Hannah P. Ian. Ian Joma. I know you are not about to make a fucking backseat driver ass critique on how bad the crew has it when each and every person on this crew could, if they wanted to, find gainful employment working for some other show, which many of the H3 crew have. They've all done, many of them have done that. I know you're not about to be like, look how bad the crew has it. The crew who's there on their own volition, who on the podcast will critique things Ethan is saying if they think it goes a tad bit too far. Ian Joma. No, dude.
To be around Ethan, period, would be a nightmare right now.
I'm standing by every fucking syllable of that, okay? What she did was abhorrent. And by the way...
Oh no, he used the button.
Listen, your critique of her is correct. It's just, you know, people are sensitive about women being called that word. And so...
Like, how pathetic are you? You know...
Did he say whore? Do you think he said whore and that's what he buttoned? I'd button that if I had a button. No, I wouldn't. I think it's okay we use that word. I think it's okay we use a lot of words, actually. I don't know. Maybe I'd button it.
I mean, I'm not assuming his pronouns. And fuck all these people. Okay. Go ahead. No, and I'm not yelling at you. I'm just... Kelly is a black woman, right?
Yes.
Maziel is a...
Korean.
Dude, the button makes it so much funnier, though. Because you'll start these, like, lines of thought where you're like, ooh, Ethan, what's he about to say? And then it cuts to later after he said it and cut it out. I would argue that the button adds to the experience. It does not take away. So fuck off, idubbbz.
Oh, Dan, come on. You're being such a buzzkill. Yeah, I didn't know Korean. I asked if Koreans are POC. God.
You know, Dan's in the bathroom. Let's just not do this right now.
I asked if Korean people are POCs.
The one time the button didn't work and we listened to how he spoke to AB without thinking that the internet was going to hear it, it was...
If anything, the button shows Ethan can be a real dumbass. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, why are you criticizing the button? I love the button. Every time I see like a time where Ethan uses the button clipped on Twitter, it's like so good. It's not good enough for me to watch every one of their 6-hour shows, but it's so funny. It's so funny.
Rude. It was nasty, and it didn't have this caveat of like, I'm not mad at you. It was anger, and it was uncalled for.
Use they get access to cover most of it.
We're doing it.
What are you doing?
It's so awkward and terrible.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Just like this is what I'm talking about when it's always like.
We need to get home for our kids.
It's like, bro.
Oh no, I didn't want to finish it right now. I was just talking about finishing Wednesday.
On Friday, maybe. Is it?
You guys like.
All right, I'm taking my hand off the. What? Okay, well.
I heard all that.
Thanks, button.
And he didn't want to take accountability for it.
Okay, so everyone who was involved with that button press came out and said it was quite literally a miscommunication between them and the crew, and they figured it out. Like, Ian is doing exactly what he says he's not doing. He's like reading too far into this shit and drawing conclusions that just simply aren't there. The button rocks, by the way. That's the official Only Jacks take. The button rocks. And maybe I should put a dono goal so we can spend $20,000 on a button. And I'll start getting real crazy with the shit I'm willing to talk about on stream.
Immediately wanted to deflect, and he wanted to say that the button fucked him.
First of all, I appreciate the hard work.
I know
you've
you do,
done, and
I
I
know.
loved it, and I really enjoy it. But it's like every time we do it, it's like the show is what it is, and
I know.
it makes it.
I was being selfish.
No, dude, that button f***ed me, dude. Can you imagine that button f***ing me over like that?
The button fucked you? AB fucked
The button fucked him!
You fucked yourself by being an asshole. He makes it seem like he's not a tyrant of a boss.
We're doing it.
What are you doing?
So awkward and terrible.
Okay, I remember the situation. AB like wanted to like keep watching some shows, but Ethan and Neela keep watching some like clips or something. And I could be getting this totally wrong. So if I'm misremembering this and you guys have the better version, let me know. But AB like wanted to keep watching something, but Ethan and Neela like had to get going for their kids. But AB like really kept wanting to watch whatever this was. And so Ethan was like, no, dude, like we need to go. Like we can't be doing this anymore. Like we need to get done and get out of here. And so instead of having that go to the podcast, he smacks the button, but the button fucks him over. So that comes out and it makes Ethan sound a lot worse than he is. And I believe almost there was like a full clip that didn't get buttoned that like he showed that said like this is kind of just what happened. It was a miscommunication, like whatever. Like, have you guys ever had an uncomfortable conversation with your manager before? That's all this is.
I appreciate the hard work.
I know
you've
you do,
done, and
I
I
know.
loved it, and I really enjoy it.
Dan, his producer, is constantly clarifying things on the air and making it clear that what Ethan said was a joke. Ethan is being overly defensive, or he's saying things that are like not true and he's exaggerating.
Oh, God forbid you have people in your circle who keep you in check, idubbbz. God forbid.
Saw that. They thought that was what you searched to
I did
pull
not
up that
type
photo. So I'm just clarifying.
Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate you doing that.
God forbid that his people he keeps around also act as a publicist. That's what a publicist does. Keeps you from saying, that's what my girlfriend does. Keeps you from saying crazy shit before you say it or clarifying the crazy shit you already did say.
God forbid.
It's okay because I buttoned it.
Why?
Because
it's not that big of a deal, man.
just
Like,
your
how
inability to.
No. Hold on, Dan.
Yes, welcome, no.
People knowing that we did it.
It's fun when it's a surprise.
Okay, well,
Well, you just asked how it changed
Surprise
things.
them on your show.
Okay, all right.
You know, I understand that that's his role, and he's, you know, Ethan's made that his job, or Dan's made it his job. Ethan leans on it so heavily, in the same way that he leans on the button. Ethan is leaning on all of these people.
Non-starter.
And look after his behavior.
Non-starter.
All of this emotional and empathetic energy.
Non-fucking starter.
Ethan refuses to give it back to them. Also, let's talk about AB and Lee.
Ethan pays them to babysit him. What are you talking about? They are paid a living wage to do this. Yeah, lean on the team you work with. Use the tools at your disposal. If I'm hired to stock a warehouse with whatever and drive a forklift and whatnot, and my boss wants me to do those things and gets upset with me if I don't do those things, like, he's within his right to be upset with me. If something needs to get stocked in the warehouse and he asks me to do that and I do it, he's not a tyrant. He's using me for exactly what he pays me for. What are you talking about, Ian? Left-leaning YouTuber learns what a paid job and having a boss is. Exactly. It was a complete surprise. Finished my class today and saw this video, knew it would be a shit show. I'm a big Ethan hater due to his hypocritical politics, but man, does Ethan seem like the victim in this situation? However, you're going to finish that.
2 Lebanese employees, and you just continue to talk about the conflict like they don't exist. It would be nicer, a lot nicer, for you to shut the fuck up about it.
But he pays them to be there. If the conversation is so bad, if it is so bad that the money they earn is not enough to make up for some of the shit Ethan says, they're in a right-to-work state, California. They can fucking leave, and they will find gainful employment anywhere else. Anywhere else. They are literally fine. Everyone in that room is fine. They don't need your idubbbz fucking savior complex. Like, I'm gonna be the parent that these guys never had. Idubbbz. Like, no, idubbbz is giving sick. Here's what idubbbz is giving right now. Hey guys, do you think we should play sicko mode or Mo Bamba? That's fucking idubbbz right now. He's a fucking little loser nerd who's crying about all this shit. He's made himself. You either live long enough to die, or sorry, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the fucking retard. And that's what Ian is right now. It's not that Filthy Frank of all people is most successful. One, and we all remember some of the things Papa Franku said. Papa Franku didn't disrespect all of his fans when he fucking decided to become Joji, okay? He just went and did Joji shit. Now, the Francis of the Filth lore video was kind of stupid. Not a fan. But he didn't tell his fans, hey, fuck you guys for liking my early shit. You guys are idiots, you're racist, you're bigots for liking my earlier shit. Don't watch me anymore if you're gonna have that fucking attitude. No, he just went and started making music that makes grown men cry. Okay? He went and made music that made my breakup arguably worse because it just hit so hard. But that's what Frank did, and that's why he's still fucking successful. I mean, Ian is essentially suggesting that Ethan hides his terrible politics to pretend he's better than he is to his Lebanese employees, which is just weird. Ethan is so open and honest with everybody, it seems like to a fault. That's such a good point. That's such a good point, Hannah. Ethan's not doing any of that. Ethan is like honest to a fault, i.e. goblin mode, i.e. the reason he has the button. Like, Ethan will just say anything. And we used to respect people for that. idubbbz used to respect people for that. He was the same guy who would go, it's either all okay or none of it's okay. Sorry that Ethan hires his Lebanese employees, pays them a good wage, and sometimes will have opinions on something that could involve Lebanese people. Oh my word. If it's so bad, they can quit, and some of them do.
And Syria alone killed double that much. All right, I'm going to move on. I just want to play Hassan talking about bad empanada.
Ethan doesn't want to change, and he wants to bring the entire crew down with him because he's putting them in this position every day, right? But it's more important that he gets this shit off his chest. It's more important that he dumps. We're all familiar with Goblin Mode.
Do you guys remember when Anissa went on that fucking rampage, that rant about talking about how commentary YouTubers really just don't understand the real world because they've never had to work a real job before? I will be a son of a bitch if that's not what Ian is doing right now. Like, he's not coming off as someone with valid criticism. He's coming off as someone who's never interacted with real people in the real world before. And, you know, I mean, I guess he rented out that Airbnb for the beginning part of this video. But like it would certainly appear as if Ian does not leave the house to go interact with real people. Yeah, that was fucking insane. But like Ian's doing it right now. He's doing that right now. So I don't know, dude. I don't know. I know Ian's worked a real job before. He did DoorDash, I think you said on one of his podcasts. So he's like, and had to interact with people, but I don't think he's ever had to sit down in a room and talk about topics, and especially have like people who like disagree or go back and forth. Like, this is not a hostile work environment. This is how people interact. Ethan says something about something. Someone on his crew disagrees. They talk about it. If what they're talking about isn't up to snuff to be aired on their podcast, he'll hit the button. There's nothing wrong with that. If Ethan did the content Ian is suggesting to make his show, or if Ian did the content Ian is suggesting to make his show, they would be unwatchable. Ian really can't lecture anyone about anything. Yeah, exactly. Like, he's fucking standing on the shoulders of his old career and pretending that he's still there. Like, he's still that tall, which he's really not. Can everyone lose here? idubbbz, Ethan Hassan, Boogie, Sam Hyde, Keemstar. Listen, man, I kind of like Sam, but if having to throw him into the mix to just have like people who are like just disappear, I think it's worth it.
Well, Ethan
if we have to sacrifice Sam for all those guys just never making another video again, that sounds pretty good to me.
debuted a new mode recently.
And by the way, my ratio is pretty good. Like, I'm looking at like 20 goblin modes to 1 too far. Demon mode, let's call it.
Okay, so hold on. Let's play the fucking nitpick game. We'll listen to what Ian just said, and then we'll compare it against what we just watched.
We're all familiar with Goblin Mode. Well, Ethan debuted a new mode recently.
And by the way,
recently, Ethan debuted a new mode recently. I would like to draw your attention to the screen. So we have Hila here with her blonde hair. Comes to not even quite shoulder length. So let's keep that in mind. And here's Ethan, about 80 pounds overweight. Got a buzzed hair that's bleached. Not a whole lot of beard going on. So let's keep this in mind. Now, when idubbbz says recently, I'm curious as to what he means. Because here's Ethan 4 days ago. Oh, wait, hold on. He looks more similar. I want to find... No. Here we go. You can just look at this thumbnail. Ethan is half the size. Oh, yeah, you can see it right... Hold on, let's get one where you can see it. There. Ethan is half the size. His hair is completely different. Like, this is not a recent thing. So I know I'm just playing the nitpicky game, but like idubbbz is like on purpose framing shit worse than it is. This is so weird to see from a content cop. This had to have been a year ago or more. Look how Hila's hair is completely different, way shorter. Like her hair is down to like her chest now. This was at least a year.
My ratio is pretty good. Like I'm looking at like 20 goblin modes to 1 too far. Demon mode, let's call it.
What makes demon mode different than goblin mode is goblins aren't really like an intimidating, powerful force. If the goblin...
Maybe the goblins you've been interacting with, but those fuckers hang out under bridges and shit. They're scary as fuck.
...is persistent, it can get what it wants.
When I'm done with the other one, the big one that's dropping probably next week, my full attention is going to you, George. Like the Eye of Sauron. I see you. I see you out there, you fucking cockroach.
Ethan, the reason the internet got behind you when you were being sued by Matt Haas or when you were being sued by Ryan Kavanaugh is because people saw you as the underdog. They saw you as the guy who's defending the common man.
I'm suing and I cannot wait for you guys to read it. At the moment, we are writing 3 complaints for 3 people.
You are doing the classic rich asshole thing. You have a deficit of friends, you have a surplus of enemies. You feel really bad, you feel hurt, but you also have a surplus of money. So what can you do? You can use that money to bully and intimidate people. These public legal threats that you're making to fellow creators, these legal threats that you're making to people on Reddit, on Twitter, you're like, I'm hurt. These people are hurting me. What do I do to stop it? There's nothing I can do to stop it. I'm powerless. No, you have a ton of power, you have a ton of options, you have a ton of choice. That's exactly what you get for being filthy rich, is you can do all of these things.
I've never want to sue someone for
idubbbz is coping and seething that he's not as rich or successful as Ethan Klein. This is like so bizarre. I'm like shocked. This is so bizarre to watch. Like we can argue about like, should Ethan actually be suing all these people? And like, that's like a debate. Like there, I can see either side of this argument. Like, is it kind of a bitch move to just like sue all these people? Well, yeah. But just like idubbbz says, when you're filthy rich, you have these options at your disposal. You know, like call him a bitch for using the tools. But if he has the tools and he so chooses to use them, that's his prerogative. Again, non-starter here, idubbbz. You're coping and seething that you're not mega rich.
Information, but like at what point? Like at what point?
Also, the Noah Samson video was 100% defamation. So if Ethan wants to sue over, I'm not going to argue. I probably wouldn't. Because like that's so much time and energy. But he's talking about the Noah Samson video right here. And I think with the CPS stuff too, like he could sue Bad Empanada for like actual damages there. Like If there wasn't a case to be made, then he wouldn't have a case. He wouldn't be pursuing it. But there's a case to be made.
Do you kind of fucking have to? I mean, this is like...
And when you look at it like that, Ethan Klein is being the true content cop. So that's whatever.
Basically, someone calling you a pedophile, be like, yeah, you know, Ethan's a pedophile.
Dan Clancy or whatever, like the CEO of Twitch, and being
Pedophile. Dan KKK Clancy has a similar view of Hitler. Because Dan Clancy, the Nazi, fucking anti-Semite. There are certain things you can accuse people of that rise above to make it like actionable, which is like wrongfully accusing someone of being a pedophile, a sex criminal, a murderer, shit like that. Dan Clancy now, in other words, he is a pedophile.
The Dan Clancy meat writing that Ian is doing, and I cannot understand why. Twitch must be, I'm calling this right now, Twitch has to be a sponsor of Creator Clash 3. There is no other reason to be riding Dan Clancy's dick this hard in this video unless Twitch has something to do with Creator Clash 3. Just gonna put that out there. Also, though, Ethan has never said he was blameless for all this shit. If Dan Clancy were to sue Ethan for wrongly calling him a pedophile, then good on Dan Clancy. So again, Ethan, I bring up non-starter. I genuinely think Ethan only has really a case for suing against Hassan and Bad Empanada. But to be fair, listening to bread tubers makes me want to bash my head into a wall every time, so it could be very wrong. Yeah, maybe. I think you may be right on that one, Null. I think if Ethan is able to sue these guys and are never making a shitty fucking video, 40-minute video where you listen to some white guy talk about oppression, if he could sue them enough to where they just stop making those videos, they stop getting recommended to me in my feed, I mean, that just sounds like a public service at that point.
You have so much less to go off of saying that than anybody has about
based
Dream.
on his looks. Just based on his
Well, at least you're self-aware.
That's 100% a joke. I have no evidence to conclude that he is.
One of the more notable legal threats that Ethan has sent out recently is against Noah Sampson.
I have nothing but vibes to gain, and potentially your money as well. Don't worry if you don't have it all now. I'll garnish your wages. You'll be living with your parents for a lot longer, buddy. 26, you know what I mean? Try 46.
Noah made a video that was critical of Ethan and other content creators when they're talking about Israel and Palestine.
Forewarning, I didn't actually watch the Noah Sampson video, so there may not be a whole lot of commentary here for this part. Just forewarning.
I mean, the way he's talking about Noah on his podcast is so fucking creepy and weird.
Is this a new thing?
This is a new thing. This happened during the show. Upon initial examination, it seems to check out, and it's not great for young Noah.
Can I say that? Don't say it yet.
Don't say it.
So he's a rape. So of course his standard. I don't know what he's accused of, so I'm not actually going to say. But
Ethan brought on a former partner of Noah to basically just shit talk him and say that he's a bad partner. But that's all that Ethan was able to extract out of it.
You are not accusing him of committing any crimes or doing R-word or anything like that. The accusation is that he's a sleaze.
Absolutely. Noah
Yeah.
Sampson, as far as I know, is not a rapist.
Fuck you to Noah Sampson, who's not just a liar and a scumbag, but also a creep. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Now let's talk about the left.
Ethan was entirely... Like, I watched that shit live, yeah. Like, I watched that shit live. Ethan at no point was saying that Noah Sampson was a rapist or anything. Oh yeah, JonTron rocks. JonTron rocks. I haven't seen a JonTron video in forever, but I know he's like living the good life. I'm so happy for him. Yeah, again, idubbbz, this is kind of a non-starter here.
Leaning Democrat.
He presents himself as someone like me, a left-leaning Democrat who supports basic things.
The thing that made me start to question Ethan's intentions is that when he was suggested to talk to Sam Cedar, a fellow progressive, a guy that Ethan respects and looks up to.
He works with Sam Cedar at the Majority Report. I respect him and what they do there.
He kept saying that it was racist or anti-Semitic to suggest that he talked to someone who's within the same ethnic group as him.
That's why I said yesterday, like, I urge Ethan to talk to Sam Cedar. There are very thoughtful, very kind Zionist Jews out there that he could talk to. I don't think that I will be able to reach him.
What's the insinuation that I only listen to other Jewish people? You need to talk to my pre-approved list of Jews that like agree with me on everything. You know, it doesn't matter if they're Jewish, dude. It doesn't matter if they're fucking Jewish.
I think most Jews.
I don't think Jews at large view it. I don't think that is the.
What in what position are you to even say that?
It's not motivated by myself. It's motivated by Jews.
Again, idubbbz is drawing a 1-to-1 where there really isn't. Like I don't even understand. Yeah, like I don't. There's so much lore and context you have to understand to put these two clips together. So this is just turned into a fucking hit piece. I do not understand. Like I know idubbbz has fallen off quite a bit these last couple years, but for a proper content cop video, I did expect a little more airtightness.
Jews against anti-Zionist
No,
Jews.
seriously, how can you speak for my entire ethnic group? I find that really interesting.
Ethan, I don't know what to fucking tell you. This is like step one of having a leftist ideology, is recognizing our race, religion, nationality, all this shit, all shape our experiences as people.
That's the reason why it'd be better served to have this conversation not with myself, but with an anti-Zionist Jewish person.
Why does it matter if they're Jewish?
Because I'm not Jewish, and you've said in this conversation that, like, how can you tell me how to feel about the situation?
Yeah, but how is one person a representative of Jews at large? I'm just telling you how Jewish people around the world interpret that phrase.
So yes, Ethan,
That was fair, but still, this is a non-starter.
on occasion you might be suggested to talk to someone who has some crossover with you. It doesn't have to be your ethnicity. It could possibly be someone who shares progressive ideology with you. It could possibly be someone who is of your same gender. I think Ethan understands this concept very well. He listened to these women on his show when they told him that he shouldn't be calling women bitches.
This bitch is intolerable. You are such a nasty fucking bitch, Ken.
I don't know if you can call her a bitch, though.
She is a bitch. She's a fucking bitch. You're right. I call her a see you next Tuesday.
Listen, you have
I'm curious, what do Lena and Sam think about it?
I wouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah.
I feel like that it's for the girlies, Ethan. But I
So
agree.
Bitches be wildin'. Yeah, no. See, this is the part. These are the parts of Ethan that I miss. Like, you can call a woman a bitch. Like, I don't. Yeah. Again, idubbbz. This is not a 1-to-1 comparison. He's literally being ganged up. Okay, maybe not ganged up on, but he's being told by several different people who are women that this word is not great. It's like if he had a bunch of Jews around him and he was calling Jews, deep pocket money grabbers, and those Jews were like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be saying that to his face. And then he relents. This is what that is. This has nothing to do with the point at large that you're making, that one person can't speak for the entirety of a group. Like, you have no fucking... This is so not the same thing. Not even a little bit. Bitches do be wildin', dude.
You guys all seem to be in consensus that it's
are.
in poor form. I think to respect the women here in the room, I'm going to have to pass on saying that.
Look, his own poll in chat says, yeah, majority yes. Let's fucking go, dude.
The infantilization of Ethan Klein is fucking nauseating. He's not a child. He is absolutely capable of looking into Hassan, learning about his politics,
which he did,
doing loads of things to figure out where he stands.
Oh
He
my
presents
word.
himself as someone like me, a left-leaning Democrat who supports basic things. And for the first time, I noticed an inordinate amount of radical, hardcore leftists. I mean, I thought we were social democrats, not whatever this was. This comment from Hassan really started to sound some alarms in my head. I was already getting uncomfortable with our partnership. I started to wonder if I had any idea who this guy actually
I know, this could.
How many episodes with Hassan? Like, this guy made a fucking program with the biggest mega leftist on the platform. Now he's acting like he was tricked and he was incapable of figuring out what this guy's beliefs were.
Oh my gosh! idubbbz, you fucking slimy bastard! About slowly propagandizing. Oh man, please don't make me turn to the content nuke.
Hassan, watching terrorists.
Hold on. Where's the clip? There's a clip of us. There it is. So Ian is saying, Ethan, you can't say that you were tricked. Listen to Hassan talk about how he tricks people into being a fucking gulag-loving communist.
Is that you have? I think that in the short term, in order to combat against that, you have to advocate for a much lighter form of propaganda. You want America, in the way that I feel about it, and if you want America to get out of the way for places with more revolutionary potential to do what they would normally do, I think that, you know, one thing you have to do is advocate for a lighter form, while simultaneously still doing agitated propaganda that goes beyond, social democratic.
So idubbbz, if you took 2 fucking seconds to listen to the shit Hassan says, you would know that he actively is promoting one set of ideologies while in the background trying to trick you into the more extreme ones. Okay? That's how he works. He fucking says that. And Ethan was a victim of that. I can't stand Ethan. I watched him get tricked in real time. Hassan wasn't open about that. Hassan was doing what he says he was going to do. Now, do I blame Ethan for not watching that podcast clip before going on Leftovers? Not necessarily. Hassan touted himself as one thing to Ethan and then was tricked. Ian, non-starter, fucking content retard this guy is. Fucking content cop my ass, dude.
I didn't make the fucking leftist program. You did. You made fucking, 60 some odd episodes of this shit for hours talking to this guy? You didn't have a problem with any of it until, Ethan talks about being aware.
Wrong. There were several. Oh man, I've seen like such an Ethan meat writer right now. I hate that. I hate that idubbbz is putting me into this position where like I've spent this entire 3.5 or 3 hours basically just defending Ethan, which is fucking stupid because I don't like this guy, but this is so egregiously wrong. There are several points, I've seen the clips within the Leftovers podcast where Hassan goes a little too far talking about how China deserved to fucking do a brutal war in Tibet. Okay, and then Hassan talked about how if someone didn't want to be communist in his perfect society, he would send them to re-education work camps until they came out just like he wanted them to. Fucking 1984 level shit. Now, all of that was before October 7th, Ian. So the signs were there. They didn't agree on everything during the pod. It wasn't the October 7th thing was the one thing out of no other incidents. No, there were other things leading up to it. The October 7th thing was the straw that broke the camel's fucking back, Ian. You fucking low IQ, low researched, fucking snake in the grass, dude. You're a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm ashamed that I was ever a fan of you, dude. This is so egregiously wrong.
Of Hassan's 9/11 comments and then sort of leaves it at that. Like it was just a joke. Actually, I think Ethan describes them as edgy moments or jokes.
You might remember him from such classics as
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it. I'm saying it.
Now, to be clear, I knew about all these edgy and controversial jokes at the time we made the show together because who am I to judge?
No, Ethan, those aren't jokes, right? When someone makes a controversial statement like that, that's not them trying to be funny. I can understand why you would conflate the two. That is someone who is extremely frustrated and passionate about a particular topic. In this
oh
case,
my word.
Imperialism and terrorism.
Welcome to Content Cop, where idubbbz rationalizes Hassan Piker saying that America deserved 9/11. Welcome to the show, ladies.
You could have looked into that. You could have talked to Hassan a little bit more and found out what his international politics opinions are. But you wouldn't even need to do that. You can look at it online. You're not a victim. You weren't.
It represents all Jews. I'm just telling you how Jewish people around the world interpret that phrase.
No single person represents all Jews as no single state.
Yeah, this could have been a slam dunk. Fucking, I should do a content cop on Ethan. But talk about the shit that's actually content copable. This is just too fucking political.
Represents all Jews.
Can go.
Israel's just a place Jews can go? With that,
I'm gonna skip back about 10 seconds. It looks like we got disconnected for a second. Sorry, guys.
Like, I think Israel says it's a place where Jews can go.
Israel's just a place Jews can go? With that slogan, we might actually have peace. You know, if that's all you're defining Israel as, is a place Jews can go. Like, sure, it sounds like America to me. Like, all right.
I don't think that Israel said they represent.
I'm back, right? Like, you can hear me and see me? You can see me, right? It says I'm connected again. Okay, cool.
All Jews. I don't think that's a stance. We're like, hey, displacing Palestinians is all Jewish people.
Ethan is being so disingenuous here to suggest that he doesn't understand what Matt Lieb is saying. Like, he's making a semantic argument. Like, I
want to give my take on this, but this has just nothing to do with Content Cop. But oh my gosh, we only have like 12 minutes left. I'm so excited. I can't wait to be done with this shit.
don't think Israel has said that it represents
No, your phone wasn't tweaking. My computer legitimately disconnected.
every last Jew on the planet. I don't think Israel has claimed that. They're not going to say that their most genocidal behavior represents anything to do with them, okay? But what they are going to do is they're going to inexplicably link Israel and Jewishness together, so when they're being criticized, all of a sudden they have the perfect defense. Oh, another thing I need to mention. There was a tier list. It was called the Who Can Say Habibi tier list. A panel.
idubbbz, no! No! Please! Please don't defend this tier list. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's hear him out. Maybe he's not.
And Ethan Klein saw that, and he decided that it was anti-Semitic.
Here, listen, and we're going to need your help to discuss and figure out who can say Habibi and who can't.
And also, we have tiers. We have Arab coded. They ask permission to say Habibi. You know, like you got like a white guy who's like, "Can I say it? Is it a slur?" And then Love Sabra, which is
Habibi. Next.
They're not Arab coded at all.
Now, when I first saw this tier list, I immediately knew what it was doing. I was like, oh, it's a play on the who has the N-word pass and who doesn't tier list. Granted.
idubbbz, say it. Oh man, idubbbz needs to say the N-word now. He needs to say it. He needs to say it. He needs to say the N-word right now. I will concede. I will concede and be an idubbbz fan for the rest of my life if you say the N-word right now, Ian. I will delete this stream. I'll delete the VOD. I'll make a public video writing your dick. Say it, idubbbz.
Habibi is very different than the N-word, but it is a cultural.
I guess not.
Arabic-speaking people and Muslims.
Is Habibi very different from the N-word? Because here we are comparing it to the N-word pass. Fucking retard. The green suit is looking at Ian like the Green Goblin costume. Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
N-word pass and who doesn't tier list. Granted, Habibi is very different than the N-word, but it is a cultural word amongst Arabic-speaking people and Muslim people. Like,
I don't understand. What do you mean? It's yeah, sure, it's a cultural word, but the definition you're putting here, Habibi originates from Arabic and literally translates to my love. So if I were to speak Arabic and want to call someone my love, I would say Habibi. You guys in chat, Habibi, my love.
Like that is a word that's used. Habibi. It means my love. Oh no, don't do that, Habibi. Oh yes, Habibi. You're my Habibi, I'm your Habibi. So yes, it's meant to be a fun way.
No, he doesn't directly compare it. Okay, so I don't want to be the villain that I'm watching on screen. He compares it in a very light way. He says it's kind of like the N-word pass thing, although Habibi is not as bad as the N-word. So I don't want to seem like I'm being like, oh fucking rah rah rah, but like the fact that he's doing this point at all shows he's lost the fucking plot. Do you understand? You understand, Habibis? Do you understand what I'm saying? Oh, so some slurs are less bad than others. Cool, white man. Do you think Ian calls Anissa's BF Habibi? No, I think Ian calls Anissa's boyfriend daddy. I didn't know I was Arab saying Habibi so many times. Yeah. Habibi. I love you, my Habibis.
that these Arab
Should I make the membership instead of the Only Jacks fan club? Should I do Only Jacks as Habibis?
content creators can express their Arab culture and be proud of it and happy about it, because it's not like they have massive representation on the platform.
Making a tier list based on race, and nobody has a fucking problem with that. Okay, you have a tier list based on race.
I understand that you can debate both sides of this argument, but I just want to make it clear. I think Ethan had the based take on this one. Like I couldn't like, because he has the context in which all of these people exist. Like these people are anti-Semites doing a tier list that could be looked at like a race-based tier list. Like when you have all the context, of course you can see exactly what they're doing. To the uninformed, I guess Ian has a point here, but he's leaving out so much context.
Where's the Jewish panel? Where's the Jewish panel? Where at the top it says Jewish. It's a tier list based on Arab to Jew. He's Arab, which is good. That's the best thing you can be on this. That's the best. This is racist.
I will say that conveying information through a tier list is not the most effective thing, but Ethan should understand this principle. He did a white slurs tier list with Hassan.
Cracker.
I mean, you know what my take is.
We can't put this as an F. Cracker. I mean, that's got to be at least a D, right?
Again, not a one-to-one. They're comparing slurs. The other tier list is comparing which race can use a word. These are very different.
Pale face motherfucker.
Pale face. I mean, again, I think that's an F. Hog.
So hog is my favorite. I use it all the time.
Him and Hassan feel as though they are white guys, so they felt very comfortable talking about white slurs on their...
Oh, unforced error from idubbbz. Ooh, one of the biggest criticisms that Hassan gets is that he's basically a white guy. He's basically a fucking white guy. And so when idubbbz says that basically Hassan and Ethan feel comfortable as white guys, uh-oh. I still can't get over how he rationalized the 9/11 thing and keeps demonizing Ethan responding to randos. Yeah, no, this guy's just a fucking water brain, dude.
Their tier list.
I think I'm more white than you. What do you think?
I think I'm white. Like I'm super white.
Can you understand why Arabs might feel comfortable talking about Arab shit on their tier list, Ethan? You're the white guy. You think you're more white than Hassan.
I think I'm
entirely different.
So yeah, the white guy can say
entirely different.
He wants, like Cracker. But the Arabs can't have their tier list.
I would put him also in Arab. I know Turkish people are different.
Notice how they dropped the premise almost immediately that it's about who can say Habibi. And then it's like, Hassan, okay, actually, he's Arab. We fucking love him. He's dope. He's Arab.
Habibi is an Arabic word. That is an Arabic word, Ethan.
Funny about this whole thing is that they say Habibi in Israel. Again, people underestimate just how like mixed Israeli culture is. Like
we say Habibi in Israel. Yes, Ethan. Another piece of evidence as to why it isn't anti-Semitic.
This is racist.
If you're not Arab or understand Arab culture at all, which is a lot of Americans, and Ethan Klein presents you this tier list and calls it anti-Semitic, you're just going to eat it up. It's not. Ethan is just proving his location on this tier list under Love Sabra because he doesn't understand Arab culture. There's a...
Okay. So are you going to leave out the part where Ethan Klein very clearly demonstrates how Sabra among Arab people could be used as a slur towards a Jewish person? That these people would obviously know that slur, and they continue to do it anyway. How about when Ethan goes into the Love Sabra category and Denham says, I think you mean Zionist. Okay, so we've established, I guess, that Zionist is now a slur. So Sabra isn't a good enough one. Interesting. Yeah, why are you dying on the hill for the tier list? This is old fucking news. What a washed up fucking nobody this idubbbz guy is.
A lot of Arabs who eat Sabra. There's a lot of people like me who eat Sabra. A lot of the times it's all that's in the store.
Ew, you eat Sabra? Gross. How could you eat Sabra, Ian, idubbbz? How could you eat Sabra? You know they're an Israeli-based company. You know that's the worst hummus you can buy because a Jew made it. A Jew made that hummus, Ian. How could you eat it? Ugh, gross. Can't believe a Jew made this hummus. You eat Sabra? I could never. Fucking retard. I hate this. He's hitting himself with a stick and crying that he's being beaten.
Gonna buy it and I'm gonna eat it, but it is not the good shit. Like the average Arab American, they're gonna go in the store and the only option they have is fucking Sabra. And that sucks that's the only option.
Sounds like 6 out of 10 options are Sabra, retard. Fucking idiot. Sounds like when you go to a store, more than half of the options will be Sabra, but there might be other options.
Right?
I'm gonna go to the store after this stream, and I'm gonna go to like Ralph's. It's a pretty like normal store. Ralph's is Kroger. If you guys aren't also in California, and I'm gonna see if there's more than just Sabra.
Communities and distribution facilities are not widespread across the U.S. So what are they left with? They're left with a common, relatable, shitty hummus, which is Sabra. And what's so fucking pathetic about this whole thing is after he was able to get these Arab creators banned off of Twitch for 30 days, he goes on to talk about how bad Sabra hummus is on his show.
I don't think anybody wants to prefer Sabra over homemade like restaurant quality hummus. You know, it's what's there.
Like weirdly fluffy.
It is
Sabra.
fluffy.
Weird.
Yeah.
I would buy it sometimes and eat it. It's not the best.
The problem is with Sabra, in my opinion, it's only good for the first 2 days.
For some reason, like when you eat this Sabra shit, it just feels so much heavier. Imagine eating a whole fucking vat of.
Again, these two things have nothing to do with each other. It was a very thin layer. It was a very thin layer of protection saying, no, we meant the hummus, not the slur. Why? idubbbz.
Of Sabra. That's crazy.
Yeah. I've never liked hummus.
Oh, okay.
Well, you hate Jews then.
I don't.
And Arabs.
Yeah.
This is racist.
Yeah, it's almost like you can have a discussion about Sabra hummus being a bad hummus without it being at all related to a Jewish thing.
But they weren't talking about Sabra being a bad hummus. They were talking about who can say Habibi. Like, I can't with this.
He can have that discussion as much as he wants on his podcast because we all know his intentions are anti-Semitic.
Yes, that is exactly why he can. Because we know he's not an anti-Semite. That is why he can have these discussions, Ian. You're absolutely right.
What he did, he hit his heart hard.
Oh, hold on. I don't have an excuse for that one, Ethan. Do you think Ethan has a coke issue? In a bunch of his stuff from the past 2 years, he's been constantly sniffing and wiping his nose, which are signs of a cold, but more commonly symptoms of a coke user. So I know that Ethan has Tourette's, which in his old content explains the burps, but you notice he's sniffing and wiping his nose, but he's also doing this thing with his hand. And also notice that those things get worse as he gets more heated, like emotionally. So I don't think he's a coke user. I do think that these things are a result of his Tourette's, because I know that you can get different tics at different times. Like you can evolve a new tic over time, and then like as your like mental state gets, as your heart rate goes up, as you get like more stressed out, like it can present itself even more. Like he used to not sniff like that. I do know. So I think that's what's going on there. Because he does these fucking live streams that are just hours and hours and hours long where he's always on camera. You would think someone would spill the beans that he's doing like coke. Like I've done coke myself and I do not recommend it. But it's one of those things where like, if you don't have it kind of frequently, it's like super stressful. So I don't know. Although I could totally see a snarker using that to be like, that's why he's so irritable on stream, because he doesn't have his constant stream of coke. Yeah. He's just got Tourette's.
Zionism is leading to not accepting other cultures, embracing their own culture, and instead thinking that that is an attack on you. There's this incident on the podcast where...
What are you... he's not even gonna say it. He's not even gonna fucking say it. Here's what happened on that tier list. They brought up Ethan Klein, booed him, put him in Love Sabra, but said that wasn't low enough. They should put him in a Zionist category. And idubbbz is not even going to bring it up. What a awful, awful rewriting of history. He just said that this tier list wasn't an attack on Ethan Klein and then negates to put in the part that involved Ethan Klein. I'm losing my voice.
They were reacting to Cutie Cinderella, and Ethan was laughing during it. So that ended up being a pretty important wake-up call for Ethan. He made an apology video directed at Cutie Cinderella, and it was graded by a professional psychologist, Dr. Kirk Honda of Psychology in Seattle. And Ethan got an A+ rating.
In terms of a public apology, this is A+.
Ethan won't...
Hey, that guy does what I do on Apology Cop. Anyone who's new, feel free to check out my Apology Cop playlist. Some of my best work is there.
Stop talking about his A+ rating.
You know he rated my apology to Cutie Cinderella a perfect score? A perfect 10.
A perfect 10 out of 10?
Literally 10 out of 10. Go back. I can teach you how to make a good apology. I'm right.
If people were to talk about how they scored really well on Apology Cop, like on their podcasts or their videos, I would actually be honored.
10 out of 10.
I know what a perfect apology is, lady. You
Thanks, no.
don't. Is my perfect apology in this PowerPoint? Dude, I got a perfect 10 out of 10.
This one is actually best apology, so.
Ethan Klein, you guys, oh my God.
Yeah, no, so turned out by this. Remember how so many people thought it wouldn't be on H3 because it was just that bad of an idea? Yeah. I didn't think it was actually going to be on H3. I thought there was more of a chance it was going to be on Sam Hyde. Because I was convinced that Ian idubbbz was still butthurt about how the documentary went. But I feel like this, I would have almost preferred this to be on Sam Hyde because I wouldn't have as much, like Sam Hyde's done some pretty disgusting shit. So I wouldn't have as many defenses for Sam as I do here for Ethan. But it's just so bad. I still have to get more of your content because I've only watched Apology Cop. LOL. Well, the Apology Cop is the only really good shit. I will say.
I was trying really hard to think about an impactful moment during this video. Like, could I do something that would really wake Ethan up? And I don't know if this came from a good place or not, but I came up with the idea of getting Ethan's grade changed from an A to a B at least.
You fucking snake! You snake! You fucking snake! You went behind his back to get a grade changed on something that happened like 3 fucking years ago, you snake. Anyone who collabs with idubbbz, just know this is the fucking quality of person you're dealing with. What a fucking snake. Thanks for saying that, Pink Peach. I appreciate you.
It's great, but it's worth trying, and, you know, we might learn a thing or two.
Xander! Probably get pretty low marks. Unlike me, perfect score, 10. I said, hey, Lud, no wig drama. Why are you such a spineless coward of a person now that you've inserted yourself and your girlfriend into this conversation?
Okay, idubbbz, I hear you.
What a snake!
I hear you.
Oh my word!
I can understand where it's coming from. And I guess have a policy that when there is a grade for an apology, I am just grading that discrete apology as I see it without taking any consideration of prior or future behavior. If you're wanting me to comment on the overall behavior or the recent behavior from the clips that you have shown me, I believe that Ethan is a good person and that eventually he will feel sorrow and will feel sorry and will apologize, and I will be there to evaluate that apology when it happens, which I know it will.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
What the actual fuck? So good on that psychologist for standing his fucking ground. Who the fuck is this idubbbz guy? The puppet master. We have now another example of the puppet master losing control of the strings. The psychologist didn't want to change Ethan's score, so he ridicules him. Oh, brother, this guy stinks. Fuck you, Ian. You are the puppet master of none. Your days are full of sorrow and wickedness, and I hope you find Jesus, you and your wife.
Unfortunately, Kirk did not change his grade, but that's okay.
Ooh, seethe. Cope and seethe.
Can have their own official
seethe
system. So I'm going to rate Ethan's apology a B-.
I'm the apology cop? I'm the apology cop, Ethan. Ian. Ethan still gets his fucking A because of spineless, coward quizzlings like yourself, you fucking coping, seething puppet master who unfortunately could not pull the strings in the way you wanted them to go, and the puppets have a mind of their fucking own. You little bitch.
That's just based on my own feelings and my own...
Hold on. Nope. I was pretty charitable to Ian and my apology cop on him. Oh, thanks guys for the subs. Hold on, how do I do this? Oh, unlisted. Save. Yeah, no, sorry. You don't get me to be charitable to you. Gone. I gave him a good score. Fucking done.
My own rubric. When Psychology in Seattle was watching these video clips of
he makes this whole video called I Miss the idubbbz, talking about how he's changed, how he's not this petty little bitch, and then does this shit.
Ethan, he said that it looks like Ethan could just use a hug. Now, of course, it kind of pisses me off to hear that shit because I'm like, what are we doing? What are we saying? He needs a hug? No, he doesn't need a hug. He needs a good fucking ass whooping is what he needs. I think something that's very important to me in bringing back Content Cop is to be fair.
Let it fucking die. Burn it to the ground. You are no longer the Content Cop. Oh, I muted it.
That was not illustrated in previous Content Cops that I think should have been and probably wouldn't have left me with so much regret. Ethan deserves all of the criticism that he's getting. I think it's very valid. But I also think, at the end of the day, we should acknowledge that he's human because he is human. And he is in a situation that's making him extremely scared, paranoid, defensive, sensitive, and I'm sure other features and feelings. In the spirit of Kirk saying that it looks like Ethan could just use a hug, I have challenged some...
He could just use the hug. He asked you for a hug and you said no. So fuck off. Don't bring back Content Cop. Leave the internet. In the words of Ela Klein, disappear. You are nothing on this platform. The people who follow you are fucking sheep. You are not a puppet master. You are not smart. You are not clever. You are a snake. You are what parents warn their kids about when making fucking friends. You are the content fucking snake of YouTube. The master of rug pullers. The sultan of fucking seethe. You're the sultan of seething. You're the king of cope. This is bullshit, Ian.
Some of his most powerful haters to put down the haterade and just say something nice and charitable about him, because I think he deserves it.
I just wanted to say that I respect that you all...
Fuck you! Fuck you!
A lot of other people...
Fuck you!
I think that's a big reason why people were drawn to your content in the first place. I think that's a lot of the reason why your employees chose to work with you over anyone else.
Ethan, I think they are all doing this to piss Ethan off. These are not genuine compliments. This is they're adding another step in their staircase to help them achieve that moral fucking high ground so they can shit on Ethan further. This is bullshit. Oh my word.
It's respectable that you even began this journey to leave behind the anti-SJW crowd and step into a more empathetic worldview. I know it's not easy.
Ethan Klein, I think that when you are being goofy, when you're being silly, when you are being lighthearted, and just having fun with your friends, I think that is when you're at your best. So I'd love to see more of that.
This is snake behavior.
Reading my letter off because I don't want to.
Whoa! 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 I don't want to comment on anyone's physical appearance.
To see more of that. That'd be sick.
Hold on. This is not the same Frogan I've come to know. It would appear that we have gotten some lip fillers, or Frogan recently was stung by a bee and is allergic. What has happened to Frogan?
I'll be reading my letter off because I don't want to sound robotic. H3 used to be the sports figure that I used to watch. I hope that one day gets back to what I remember. You were one of the inspirations for me to start creating.
What happened to Frogan? No. That's not what I meant. No! I want the image, dipshit! So, what happened? What did she do? Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing also? Dude.
Content, so all this has stunk. I hope you really hear this and I wish you the best.
I think Ethan.
Huh. I'm not gonna like die on this hill or nothing, but if that was like a doctor's work, she should fucking sue.
Klein rocks a buzz cut pretty good, and I think he's got a good choice of facial hair. I think it's really cool.
Look how Noah Samson isn't doing this from his home because Ethan can make fun of him for still living at his parents' house. He's doing it in his fucking Tesla. He's doing it in his Tesla.
What he did 8 years ago, fighting that frivolous lawsuit, that was pretty fucked up. And fighting it, you know, he changed YouTube for the better. And I thought that was cool because I thought it was like, he was fighting for free speech.
You know, I also see the dynamic.
Why is he crying?
Like, it's really hard to be a couple.
Cry bully! Cry bully! With actual tears! Ian! Ian, no! Ian! Listen, I would cry. Yeah, I'm not trying to like shit on Ethan or Ian too bad. Like, no, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. I really don't feel bad. Because the only reason Ian went to this guy was to get him to change a fucking score on an apology from like 3 years ago. And then to open up and start crying about their broken relationship that it seems from this video and everything Ethan has said about him to try to keep and repair that relationship has been zero effort put into it. I don't feel bad. This is legitimate cry bullying. Ethan and Hila have been there for Ian at pretty much every point. And this was a big one to drop the ball on. So cry to mourn your friendship, but to then put it at the end of this video and parade it around like you're this upset about it after doing an hour and 5 minutes of shitting on Ethan for actually nothing, giving 4 points of valid criticism in this entire hour-long segment. You lost me. You lost me. I'm sorry.
Online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, like if you come to their defense.
Never mind. He's talking about him and Anissa. So yeah, cry bully.
Free speech.
You know, I also see the dynamic of Ethan and Hila. I'm like, fuck, like, it's really hard to be a couple online and see people attacking your partner.
So yeah, he's just making it about him. I don't feel bad.
And it's like, okay, like if you come to their defense, that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes
it doesn't. Oh, ooh, they were saying this in the podcast that when they were going through controversy, they didn't have anyone to back them up, completely forgetting that Ethan and Hila, another couple online, had backed them up at every step during any of their controversies. Brother, leave your OnlyFans wife and then talk about this shit. Leave your OnlyFans wife who gets you into controversy, ask for forgiveness from Ethan and Hila, and then cry about it. I feel no sympathy, zero sympathy for you, because you know what it's like to be a couple online getting shit on, and you didn't step in to help. And then to the people who helped you in the same situation, you didn't acknowledge it even happened. Cry bully.
And I have been kind of slipping into a very unhealthy place where it's gotten worse and worse, and I get criticized more and more, and I get
this shit's from 10 fucking years ago.
More defensive and more hold up, a feeling of almost infallibility that I could take anything on. It led me to make a lot of mistakes, and then when I was criticized for those mistakes, then I would act extremely defensive and nasty and not really processing them in a healthy way.
I hated that. You made it to the end of the video. You should subscribe, or maybe just leave a like. Leave a comment if you please, but I'd rather you subscribe. I check that shit like every day, and when that subscriber number goes up, well, my heart goes up to the sky. When you do